Hello everyone, I'm Andrew Can, and if I can, you can too. Today is going to be all about YouTube keyword research for beginners. This is something that I asked recently in a community poll on what people were struggling the most with, and it seems to be the keyword research, how to come up with video ideas. So I decided a live stream would be the best way to kind of tackle this. That said, what we're going to be using for our keyword research is a little known tool, I say sarcastically, known as TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy is the #1 rated browser extension. You can get it absolutely for free by going to tubebuddy.com/can. In full disclosure, I do work for TubeBuddy. However, because of that, I can offer some things such as a 25% off of any of their paid licenses. Anything I will be showing, I will mention the license type. That said, I want to get into YouTube keyword research, and then later in this stream, I'm going to be reviewing if you're here live, if you're watching the replay, there's really no way I can do this, but if you're watching the replay, still go all the way to the end because there is value in seeing what other people are doing right and wrong so you can try to implement it yourself. That said, Bagard is here early on. We have people coming in, and I'm really excited for this topic. I'm streaming a little earlier than usual, but hopefully we get just the same amount of love and respect. Realizing schedules are so really random, says BD Draws. Just said that. What perfect timing. However, the point is that this is something that I think a lot of people need to learn more about. So I'm really excited to bring this. I'm really excited to be here live today. So why don't we go ahead and transition over to the desktop. I see Tartar Support, live streaming pros who say hi from Pakistan and morning. Am I compelling enough for you? Am I compelling enough for you now? Last 3 vids. Thank you so much for the super chat. Still don't have super stickers, but all right, Vigard, let's go. So, Vigard was asking, am I compelling for you enough? So today we're going to be looking at keyword research. And because of that, I think this is a great place to start. So Vigard already coming out of the gate swinging. So why don't we go ahead and check out Vigard. So this is going to be a channel review as well as SEO and keyword review. So the first thing I'm going to be taking a look at based on Vigard here, he said his 3 most recent. Just start creating, find your passion for filmmaking. So if I were to take a look at this just based on title alone, I'm going to assume you're targeting just start creating. I'm also going to zoom in a little here so it's easier for you all to see it. So hopefully that works pretty well for this. So now I'm going to say you're targeting just start creating Vigard. So with that, I'm going to take a look at it. And this is all being able to do with TubeBuddy. Videolytics, which is going to show here, is going to be available on the free version. Again, a lot of this is available for free. So looking here, you're telling YouTube this video is about just start creating, find your passion for filmmaking. So my first question is this video about how to find your passion for filmmaking, or is it just about just start creating? Because it seems that the searchable bit, which might be find your passion for filmmaking, is later. And again, this could be our keyword, passion for filmmaking. So why don't we do a little bit of research? I want to show search ranks, just start creating, find your passion for filmmaking. So the keyword here, and this is a keyword phrase to be more specific, is find your passion for filmmaking. This has a fair search volume, which basically means that it has a decent amount of people searching for this term. If we were to go into YouTube search, we could see that. So what I want to look at now, yeah, Beanie, I still don't have access to stickers. I like how Tom was like, a lot of people will have access to it. It's like, So you're ranking very well for find your passion for filmmaking. So the way you have your title is good. This is actually a good instance of just kind of where even within, I'm sure if we add this, you probably get the full match. It's something to consider. I know YouTube says that they don't value the period exclamation mark that much, but again, when they say that much, it means they do, but it's honestly such a minute thing. Like if you look at the main difference in results here, we have 16.7. Like it's not even that big of a difference. It's just something to consider if you want like that exact match. And Vigard says, I went for more compelling than rather than search. Again, there is actually search for this. I would say just start creating. If I look here, that might be, it's actually not that badly searched. What I would be curious about is like the monthly searches for this, but based on your size, I think you're fine. So I would say for the keyword research here, you went for the compelling element, which is really good. Welcome, Leela, I'm assuming. And just start creating, find your passion in filmmaking. I would say how to start filmmaking isn't as relevant to maybe how to find your passion for filmmaking, which I don't see verbatim. I see how to find passion for filmmaking, find your passion. So maybe how to find your passion. But even then, how to find your passion for film, right? So like that could be just a different way to say it, the same way. It has some decent search, and even though you don't have it as a tag, you are still ranking #1 for it. So Vigard, I actually do think this is pretty decently searchable. It's just remembering keeping the focus on how you titled it and how you described it, because all of that's going to matter in the long. Looking here, cinematic black bar presets for Premiere Pro. My thing here, make your video cinematic. This might be too high level, so I don't think people are going to type in cinematic black bar presets as, but I could be wrong. So this is always where you do keyword research. What I would say your keyword here is cinematic black bars. This is how you're doing it for this video, and this is a compelling element. So if we were doing keyword research with TubeBuddy, the thing I'd be looking up is cinematic black bars, but even then, that might be too specific. So you are ranking for cinematic black bar presets, but you have to remember people looking for this specific piece of information are going to be looking mostly for this. They may not necessarily even know what presets are, because of this, they're at a very basic beginner level. So you have to remember that. You say they do. I have a video that has 61,000 views, so you may be going for the related, but I'm curious on just seeing what we have here. So, okay, there are 11.2K. Again, this is why I was making assumptions here. There is a lot of competition. So if we look here, we can see cinematic black bars, green screen, bars for your pro. So there's a good amount of search for it on both the web, video topics, how to make cinematic black bars for videos in Premiere Pro, how to add in Premiere Pro. So yeah, there's actually a good amount. So I stand corrected. What I would say here is how to make might be a little better, especially considering, but even then, you know, you come down to this. One thing I think you should definitely consider when making any video is how people would search, and as Vigard can show you here, like people are searching for it this way. So cinematic black bars, I guess the thing I would say is maybe go cinematic black bars preset, because you have a lot here, but you're actually not like targeting that within your search, and I'd be curious to why. The presets is interesting. The make your video cinematic. I'd question the audience here on how compelling this is. I may target videos more cinematic, but even then that's just like splitting hairs. Now, because you have that other video, Vigard, you mentioned, I'm curious why it's not necessarily being suggested. Hello, Old Geezers Gaming. He said, gave a thumbs up and share on Twitter. I do appreciate it. Might need to change the last settings. Again, Vigard, it's basically make your video cinematic. The problem I have with that is it isn't, it's not, it's an attempt to be compelling, but I'm not sure how much it's hitting. And again, cinematic black bar presets for Premiere Pro, I think you hit it with how to add black bars in Premiere Pro. I don't necessarily see the presets. Like even if you look here, how to add black bars in Premiere Pro without cropping, and like there are some searches for it, but it might be something to consider. So what I might say here is how to add cinematic black bars to your video And then I don't know. The thing is you will get the cinematic look in your videos as preset pro. You will get 50 black bar preset. I'm because this is your store. I'm assuming this is a paid thing, so you can't really say for free. Maybe you go with save time. So that's something I'd keep in consideration, because I think what people are actually searching for is like how to add this, but you're targeting cinematic black bar presets specifically. And when I look there, the search isn't really there, because you've told, based on the word choice, like the keyword you went for was cinematic black bar preset, black bars, but by adding presets, you've changed how this is different. So the thing is, you have to remember, by adding in the presets, not as many people are looking for that. So what I would say is how to add cinematic black bars for Premiere Pro, and then maybe best these presets will save you time, because people want their time to be saved. For everyone who's asking for a channel review, please keep in mind that super chats do take the priority. So just looking there, I'd say it's a confusion of like, you know what you're trying to hit, but sometimes you may niche it down to something where the general people aren't searching for it as much. And so the presets, while this is what this video is about, what I would say would be the best thing is maybe showing how to do it manually, show how your presets save the time, and then, it does make the videos more cinematic, but I don't necessarily think that's going to be as compelling as just showing it within the video. And also, when doing a black bars video, you also have to be in consideration that like if this is just an overlay, like true black bars is the 21:9 aspect ratio, which I know you know, Vagard, but like for anyone who is learning about this, they may not know this. So there's a lot of depth in this. So what I would say there, Vagard, is like always think about your target audience is who exactly, because if it's that more beginner based, right, like it's this film's tutorial inspiration, you can't. One thing I struggle with, especially when teaching anything, because I do mostly tutorials on the TubeBuddy YouTube channel, is remembering that the people watching will not know as much as myself. Usually, sometimes they do, but a general audience doesn't. So I have to remember, how can I help those who already know this, but also that general audience who may not know as much. So always keep that in mind. Welcome, Paul Peck. Great to see you here in the live. We're going to transition back. Vigar goes, of course it's not true 21:9, but people do buy it. Yeah, and YouTube also doesn't support 21:9 with end screens and stuff. So now, Vigar, I know you were asking questions about this. I've actually watched this video on the personal channel. My main thing is how to get started with filmmaking, tips you need to know. Originally, you had this differently. My biggest concern on this is how to get started with filmmaking might be decently searched. Got fair. You have some competition, but I do think that you can stand out. But the thing I'm worried about for you specifically is the tips you need to know portion. And I've seen this video, so I can actually say this. You don't get started on these tips until about 2 minutes in, and I would check your retention, because that's a long time to get there. What I would have done a little differently is how to get started with filmmaking, and then literally you can start with tip number 1. Time management or something like that is important, and then you can kind of make it a joke as how long it takes you to get there, but it does take you a good amount of time to actually get to the tips. And this is majority based on what it was before. So how to get started with filmmaking is what you're targeting. Get started with filmmaking. Again, you got to keep 44% retention so far. Yeah, I rambled a bit. So again, we're kind of seeing that 44% is not bad. Again, 50% or higher is what we try to go for. I do think that it looks visually awesome. I like the style you're going for, but you always have to remember that when you're targeting how to get started with filmmaking, it's going to have to keep around that, right? How to get started with filmmaking. If you want to add, like I see YouTube in here, you got to make sure that's in your title and description. So tips you need to know, new filmmaker tips. I get again, YouTube's looking for that 1-to-1 checkbox. Not really there. So that's something to keep in mind. Filmmaking for beginners, how to get started with filmmaking, tips you need to know. This, I do think the compelling element is there, but I would say that the problem I found in this video is it takes you a little while to get into the tips. And then how to get started with filmmaking, you're not having that consistent follow through when it comes to these other things here. And again, if we go into TubeBuddy, how I'd handle this going into the keyword research, you found that, excuse me, I don't know why my throat has decided to go. 1 second. Gotta love that mute function. So again, it is how to get started with filmmaking. Right? So here's the base, and this is what we looked for. So by using the TubeBuddy weighted score, I know all I need is about 101 views to break through here. That's not that bad. So by looking here, how to get started with filmmaking, just starting out, what do you do first? I mean, this is Film Riot, so you're competing with someone with a large audience. How to get started in filmmaking. I do think that yours is very compelling compared to what is here. I do think there's a little bit of confusion, but like you see there's a lot of other tips here. I would say the best thing I could tell you is by looking kind of at how to get started for filmmaking. Yeah, there's a lot of results, but the search isn't kind of there. There's not that many video searches, so how to get started with filmmaking may not have been the best keyword. It might have been best starting film tips. And maybe this has different results, who knows, right? Like this might be way more competitive. But again, based on what you've titled it, you really focused on those filmmaking tips in this video, but it takes you a while to get there. So this could be where like the idea was solid, but the video and execution to the message that you were trying to portray, it takes a while to get there. And if I'm doing a tips video, the first thing I think about is the time watched. So again, it takes, I do know you mentioned early on, but like that 2-minute mark to get to the actual tips itself is such a long period of time before we ever get there. So always remember that the people watching their time, if you don't start with a strong tip, which is going to hook them here, that's what matters the most. So that's what I would say there. I don't think these are bad videos. I do think the just start creating, find your passion, this one is definitely really compelling. It also may have been shared out, I'm not too sure. I do think the black bar presets is almost too specific. And another thing is how to get started with filmmaking tips you need to know. It takes a bit to get to those tips. But overall, I do think this is a very solid video. I just think that took a bit to get there. And if we look at like some of your most successful tutorials, how to add cinematic black bars to videos in Premiere. So yes, you already have this. So I would say for this, if you want a follow-up, because that's kind of what you're going for, how to add cinematic black bars to videos in Premiere Pro quickly with presets or something like that. That way there's a little bit more follow-through, and then you're able to sell your presets. You have the free version, and I'm not even sure if you link back to this, but if you can link between these, it's even better. Paul Peck says I have to get back to work. Take care, my friend. Thank you so much for joining. But yeah, that hopefully, Vigard, that helps you just a little bit. Again, remember that whatever you title this, it should be based on your keyword research. And a lot of times people come up with the video first before doing the keyword research. So what I always tell people is how I go into a video is I always take a look at what I want to say within the video, right? And so I always focus on what my video is truly about and how to, like, what the video I want to make next is truly about. So I'm going to show you this using how I'm doing keyword research for a new video I plan to do. So I'm going to go to TubeBuddy by clicking the TubeBuddy drop-down menu. Under Extension Tools, I go to Keyword Explorer. The first thing I do, and this is what I'm working on a video about moving blankets. So the first thing I do is I type in moving blankets and I see what people are looking for. Moving blanket sound, studio for sound dampening, vocal booth versus acoustic blankets, hail protection, acoustic treatment, soundproofing, sound absorption. I just type in explore because I want to see what people are looking for. So this is where I can see that moving blankets are definitely being searched for. We have a decent amount of results. Tips for moving. Of course, this is where by having moving blankets just as it, I'm going to need to be sure, because moving blankets actually have another purpose outside of how I plan to structure this video, right? They're actually used to help people move, but they can be used for sound treatment. So looking here, people are using them looking for moving blankets for sound absorption. That's a little bit better for what I want to do, but if I look here, the number of videos that has poor search results, so I actually wouldn't target this, because while I can be dominant for it, the search really isn't there, and all I would need is 72 views, which I could get. So we go back to our high level moving blankets. So looking here, moving blankets for soundproofing, for acoustic treatments. Again, maybe for acoustic treatment, but again, this sounds very specific. And because it's very specific, you can kind of see where almost any of the suggestions here, this is where, as a user, and I always tell people this, is look at the data points, right? Like if the search volume's in the red, the competition, if there's not that many video results, if the search and the amount of video views you need to break through is super low, I usually am cautious on that term. Also, if you look at our score, it's pretty poor. And that's something I keep in mind. Like, even though there's not that much competition, like, it's very easy to be optimized well for this. That's something to consider. But if I look here, there's soundproofing with moving blankets. Now, the problem I have with this is my video is really not about soundproofing, and even then, it's really not about that. So it's always finding that balance of, one, is this factual to my video? Two, am I keeping true to what I'm promising? And three, when doing this research, you always have to think, how would a viewer search this up? Now, most viewers are looking up moving blankets, just in general. They're keeping it very high end, but I can't just call it moving blankets and just put in my description, this is all about moving blankets, moving blankets, moving blankets, moving blankets, because it's going to be very obvious what I'm trying to do. So that's one thing I'd say. Terrar Support says, after your suggestions now, my subscribers are increasing. That's great. And that's why I hope people take into these channel reviews, like Vagard, who came back, and thank you, Vagard. I'm really excited about filming with you at Bitsum, and I actually have a few ideas I'd like to toss around with you. So don't worry, I saw your comment. Just get very busy. But as we continue moving back, I know that people are looking for moving blankets, so what I want to do is I want to look at the results, right? So how to use a moving blanket, tips for moving blankets, how to know the difference between moving blankets. So sound dampening from moving blankets, really? This one's really compelling. 10 best moving blankets, and then we can just see people are using them, how to protect. What if I'm doing a video on moving blankets? What I might do is moving blankets for better sound, right? And maybe that this doesn't have, all right, this is better. Moving blankets for acoustic treatments. More people are likely to talk about better sound than acoustic treatment, right? Like, this is super high end. And so for the people that care about this and know that's what it's called, you're going to hit all of them. But more people want better sound. And immediately, while there's more results, the search volume's a little better. And immediately we can see kind of the needle going towards the green. Daniel Patal always says move the needle, so that's something you want to keep in mind. Red Screen Ninja says, besides video keyword, how important is channel keywords? Channel keywords is more so YouTube knows how to rank you. And so essentially channel keywords are actually really important. So like if Vagard has a lot of videos here, and he's a great example because I just looked at him, for cinematic black bars, if he has a lot of videos on that, ideally by putting cinematic black bars, he would hope. So let's just type this in, cinematic black bars. If I need to be, if like I'm filtering or YouTube's filtering and I hit channel, Vagard would hope that his channel shows up here. And again, the more, and Vagard does eventually show up, look. So this actually does matter. YouTube looks at a combination of the videos on the channel and those channel keywords. So Vagard, if people, because some people actually do like searching by channels. So if Vagard wants to show up, which he does, maybe a little higher, I guess you could challenge, and I'll look at Vagard. If you don't have cinematic black bars in your channel keywords, which thankfully through TubeBuddy Channelytics see, so he has cinematic filmmaking, but he doesn't actually have cinematic black bar tutorial or presets, so that's something you can consider, Vagard, and it actually could help you rank a little bit better for that more specifically. So it does help you on that. Rebranding Autism says, I get most of my traffic from search. I do wish I got more suggested, but at least I know I am doing a pretty good job with my keywords. And one thing I would say with suggested is, are you recommending other videos from you in the video? Are you your number one suggested source? Because a lot of times, if you're not recommending other videos, even within a pinned comment, your videos are the best way for you to be your number one suggested. So keep in mind that as well. So if you're not being suggested on your own videos, are you recommending your own videos within your video, on your video, those playlists? Like, all of that matters. So if you're not doing those basics, then it can really end up not helping you out as much as you'd like. So when you want to get more suggested, really think about, am I suggesting my own content? Because if you're not, then if you don't tell YouTube what you want it to be suggested against, YouTube's gonna just go based on what it knows, and what it knows isn't always your channel. So keep that in mind. So now transition. My hair is wild today, apologize for that. But if we look here, going back to those moving blankets, the thing I was able to see here is, for better sound, moving blankets for better sound. This is better for people who are looking for stuff around moving blankets. So this is maybe that more intermediate person. So they already have looked up moving blankets, but this also gets the people who are looking at moving blankets, and then this gets the filmmakers for better sound. And so maybe if I put something like how to use, right? And then maybe we'll see different results here, right? Like here we already have how to use moving blankets. And then if I add for better sound, maybe we get different results. So it's always about testing. And it's a little more fair. I actually don't know if I like this one a little better. And as you see, how to use getting better studio sound using moving blankets. Does it work? Does it work to remove echo? This one really focused on the compelling, but what I would say I would focus more on for this is moving blankets for better sound personally. Because for me, I know that I could really target this well. It would hit the general moving blankets people, and it would have a better chance of ranking in an easier way. And I could also do something like install moving blankets for better sound. So this might have even different results. I may remove that, but again, as you see, it's coming up with the idea. Once I have an idea, what I usually do with TubeBuddy is I add it to a tag list, right? So this is on my gaming channel, so if you're wondering why I have no tags list, so what I would usually do is I'll go moving blanket video, right? I'll call this, well, if I actually have my home keys correct, moving blankets video. So this allows me to kind of, one, have a tag list, which I can copy this to video. So if later I want, I can actually go to, tag list under extension again. And then we can see moving blankets. So we can see install moving blankets. I can also do moving blankets because we've done the research for better sound, which I want to add. And these are all different ways, right? Moving blankets for better sound. And the key word is moving blankets. But how I know people are going to search for it is for better sound. So moving blankets for better sound. Improve your audio. And this is the compelling. Improve your audio easily, right? Because people want that easy fix. Moving blankets for better sound. Improve your audio easily. And this might actually be above the character limit, but you get the idea. That's kind of it. So Vigard asked, by the way, a new YouTube Studio beta. When I'm clicking on the tag, doesn't open the Keyword Explorer anymore. Is that a bug? Vigard, it's not a bug. It is. We are adding that functionality to it, but it actually is not as simple as you may think. It basically goes to YouTube is constantly editing how they look at the tag metadata and where they're placing it. As you may see with a new upload screen, it kind of goes up to YouTube is literally changing that back end data to the point where it's like, imagine every hour, if I change your YouTube channel title, you wouldn't want to focus on it anymore. So that's kind of where it is. It's not that we're abandoning it. It's just that YouTube is making a lot of changes, and keyword is beta, so it will come there. as a question to you, buddy. I open the question up to you. If you would like me to take a look at a video of yours, or you've done some keyword research and you feel like it hasn't performed, it is up to you. Remember that super chats always take the priority here, but we have a lot of good people here. I want to make sure that the value is here. Ooh, and apparently I have my Windows threat and protection summary. I appreciate Windows for that. But yes, this is where I pass it off to you. What would you like me to take a look? I'm not a developer, but I understand it might be a challenging task. Absolutely. I tell people when they're asking me like developer end questions, I've done one whole thing of code in my lifetime, and that's about it. So you gotta respect the developers who develop something, especially things like TubeBuddy, which you can download today. Hashtag shameless. But I want to also kind of go in while I wait for some comments. And so if you're wondering where I come in for that, if I type in Andrew Can, right? Let's go here. I'm live. Thank you, everyone who's watching. But where I often just kind of come up with videos by going to the community tab. Usually I'll ask like coming up with ideas for your videos ended up winning out here. So I always vote on my own, so don't judge me. But it's mostly because what I've learned is you can see my real want. I knew more people were going to go for moving blankets, but I was curious if I started here. You can also see where I share, but as you can see here, how to get better audio using moving blankets, like that's originally what I was going to target. But if I go here, get better audio is a different search term, right? So how to get better audio, it has about 90 searches per month. And then if I go using moving blankets, well, it's become very specific. Yeah, it has some decent search, but again, it's almost too specific for its own good. Where really, I mean, you are getting better audio with moving blankets. Moving blankets for better audio might be different than better sound, but it really kind of comes down to that messaging. It's actually super close, but it's again, better audio, better sound. It's really just saying the same thing over and over. But it's finding that unique way. So we have from Terrar Support saying, if you can't, your audience can. Absolutely. That's what I always say. If I can, you can too. That's kind of the value proposition of that. Most things on YouTube, especially, or even in like the filmmaking area, isn't as difficult as people like to believe it is. Like a lot of times, the things people want to do, it's really simple, right? Like cinematic black bars, for example. It's a great example that Vigard, earlier, is those presets can make it so much simpler than a lot of people think it is. Now, if you are doing a true 21 to 9, it's a little more complicated, but that also goes into most people are going to be looking for that simple fix in what they already know. And with the presets like Vigard has, unless they're like hyper baked in to Premiere, you can kind of use those in anything. So Terrar Support, if you'd like, I can take a look at your channel. I'm just kind of curious on that. So I'll go ahead and pull your channel up, but I'm not sure if that's you. I did that video because I updated the video based on the popularity on that first video. Okay, so when you were doing the cinematic updated products, I mean. Okay, so really it was a product refresh. But what I would have told you to do, especially is if I were to be like insulting you, is I would have gone to how to add cinematic black bars to videos quickly with these presets. Because we know people are looking up how to do it, but a lot of people are going to want a quick solution. And if you show how the presets you created are that quick solution, then you've really kind of honed in there. So I want to transition over, and this is going to be a channel review for you, Terrar Support. So travel journey, road trips, festivals, and short film. So the first thing I would say is because of your size, you already have like an established audience. But my question would be, out of all of these links, because if people click off and go to the community, which of these immediately gives you the most powerful connection back to your YouTube? Because if it's Twitter, then maybe Twitter makes sense. But usually I tell people, like, I go for either Discord or I go something that will make immediately like benefit. So like maybe it's a sale or a service you provide. I always tell people whatever this first link is, this should be the most important to you. Looking here, I see travel by train, road trip, traveling to Saudi Arabia. I'm definitely seeing some better updated, kind of playlist here. The thing I would say is you still have just the general uploads and the general popular uploads. So I would still maybe focus on your channel name and like I again create those playlists with your name in it because you have a large following. You probably get some decent search for your name. Hello, Turtle Creativity. Great to see you here. So that's just what I would say here. I want to take a look at maybe this one, Jammu and Kashmir Travel. So this because this one's an hour old, it's going to be biased in the rank. One thing that's smart that you're handling is that YouTube allows you to have location tagging, and if you are a traveler, and I always have to specify this because at an event I saw this. Please, for the love of God, if you live close to a landmark and you mention that in your videos, don't location tag it. Don't make it easy for people to find you. Because, yeah, it's great that you're a YouTuber and it's great that you're sharing this information, but the last thing you want is someone to show up on your doorstep that you didn't expect, because that can weird you out. And not everyone watching is going to be your biggest supporter. I always have to be careful when people location tag. Not saying that you shouldn't location tag. I just say, like, if you're a travel vlogger and you're going to that location, you're only going to be there for a bit of time, then sure, go ahead and location tag. But if you live close to it, careful, please. I saw someone tag their child's school in their video, and their video had 100,000 views. And I said, I don't care if YouTube asks for it, please don't tag your child's school. And ever since, she stopped doing that. But looking here, it is, I'm probably gonna Jammu and Kashmir Travel at so this is a tour, which is all right, that's fair. If I look here, the first thing I'm seeing is too many one-word tags. So you're ranking for Lock Pakistan, you're ranking for this, you're ranking for Tarar support. What I would say, just kind of looking here, Jammu and Kashmir probably going to have a lot of search, which it does. And the bare minimum to break through here is 15,000 views, which your video is at 6,000. So this could be why it's not doing. So you put travel. So why don't we go here? Take a look at maybe travel. Maybe you have different results. So there are actually some different results, and this is where you get a little bit more specific within your keywords. It actually helps you a lot here. So by even putting travel, that's a better keyword than just having Jammu and Kashmir. So that's something I'm noticing. There's also train travel. So again, if you're traveling by train, that might make sense. Again, all these one-word tags, India, Kashmir, like, they're not helping you. I would recommend more descriptive long tail keywords, because when you are more descriptive, like Lock Pakistan, which may not be that super descriptive, but it's more descriptive than new latest video. Like, all of these tags, one words, are just useless when it comes down to how YouTube is going to try to find this. And by talking to the person in YouTube search, she said that tags are used for misspellings, but also other ways people might search for your video, and your video might be the answer too. Again, from talking to the person at YouTube search, the thing that is the most important to think about is that tags are used for alternate spelling, relevancy checks between your title and description, and also other ways people could search and still find your video. Sometimes, as we learned with Vigard earlier, there are other ways people search and your video still shows up. Tags, by putting that tag in, it helps you still maintain high search for that. So again, people are always debating the relevancy of tags. After talking to people at YouTube search, they said yes, they're important. People put too much stake in their importance, because in the end of the day, what matters the most on YouTube is how good is your content at delivering the proposed message. And by doing keyword research, you can really hone in on making sure your message is clear. D. Niman says he's a time traveler. And Vigard says he's a liar. Welcome, D. It is great to have you here. Midnight Madness says hello, D, as well. So tags are still important, but the problem is most YouTubers wanted them to save the content that wasn't, like, you can have the best tags in the world, but if your video isn't as, If your video doesn't cause people to watch for long periods of time, good tags can't save a bad video. Good SEO can't save a bad video either. So to go on here, this video is actually performing decently well, maybe not into the size and scale of your channel. So I'd say it could be based on kind of, if I'm YouTube, right? Like, this is about Jammu and Kashmir travel, Alak, India, Pakistan, Neeling Valley tour. So maybe if I go here, I type in Valley, right? And maybe more people are looking for this, right? And sure enough, it has some better search. What I would like to see from you through our support is where I could see you ranking. I definitely think you could definitely do better there because you do a lot of stuff with this. And as I'm seeing here, I don't see your channel. And this is a newer video, right? So like it should be getting that boost of the new tag. But based on kind of the confusion it's seeing, it's having a hard time. Now, one thing I want to do, since this does have the location feature and not a lot of people utilize this, is if you click on this, YouTube is going to just show you based on location tagging. Sure enough, your first two videos based on the new tag are showing up for this. And again, we can see where YouTube is looking for it in the metadata as well, where it's bolding here, here. So YouTube is using this data. D. Nimitz says his bike has a flux capacitor, talking about him going back to the future. But this is just another example of where giving YouTube more metadata like that does actually help a good amount. So that's something I'd keep in mind. So this one, traveling to Pakistan by train, is super specific on what this video is going to do. And again, you have long train videos. Wherever you tag it, what I would say is you have traveling Pakistan by train. I'm sure you probably rank well for this. And sure enough, you do already kind of own authority here. So I know you have traveling Pakistan by train multiple times in your title, but it should be in those tags because this can actually help YouTube suggest your video. And this is where if you have a lot of traveling train videos to Pakistan, which I'm seeing multiple, you should be putting those in those cards. You should be having that top pin comment. It's like, hey, do you want more travels by train to Pakistan? Here's a playlist. Again, make it easier. Turtle Creativity says, so much I have to learn, but I'm willing to be a sponge and take it all in. But here's the thing, and this is what I tell people about sponges. A sponge with too much water is useless, so it's knowing when to wring out and utilize that information into your content that matters more. So I appreciate you being a sponge. Knowing when and how to use it, that's what I care about more. Sorry, audio people. I accidentally smacked all of you. Was not on purpose. Doug Houston says, that's a windy. Talking about the flux capacitor. Doug Houston is an amazing YouTube channel you should check out if you're not looking. So is D. Honestly, most of the people in this chat have amazing. All of you joining me this early. So again, that's kind of where I'm seeing to our support, where it's kind of a confusion, is there's too many of these one-word tags, like Pakistan, train, journey. Here's also something to keep in mind. I've also seen this. If you have hashtags and location tag, hashtags take the priority over the location tag, and I really know why. I've asked people at YouTube, and they're like, well, they're both really new, which that's not the answer I was looking for, but it does tell me a lot. And basically, when it comes to like the hashtag or it comes to location, what YouTube's doing, and this is straight up from the person who works at search, we look at them as what would a user find. So if I'm looking here to our support, like you clearly know what your audience likes, but it's more so how do you help new people who don't know what you're about, don't know what your channel is about, and have never heard you. You want to make it super easy for YouTube to suggest content that will keep people watching, because your train videos tend to be longer, and longer form content is good because you can get more watch time, which will help people watch more content. So that's one of those things I'd keep in mind. I like your series on how to work in Pakistan, and maybe after, if you have your travel by train series in Pakistan, you can add that. So when you first time review almost 15K sub, and again, look at that growth, 54K. And it kind of comes down to like you have a clear understanding of what does well. Like your travel by train videos do very well. But it's just remembering that when you do these kind of videos, I want to see like your other videos do very well, right? Like traveling Saudi Arabia tour by bus. Like essentially you're showing people how to travel the Middle East, which is amazing. But it's keeping that kind of level support. Framework Fortune says, "Can you please review my channel?" Absolutely, if I have time today. Hello from the Philippines, says Ian Dominic TV. And Only Claire Jones, hello, welcome. I'm happy to have you with me. Great to get more and more people in. So there is some clear growth here to our support, but keep in mind that the clearer you make your content for YouTube to better understand how to suggest it against yourself, the better you'll do. Because a lot of times suggested is based on the content information YouTube can gather at a quick glance. YouTube is based on code, and it's literally a binary yes or no check. Is this about train travel for Terrar support? Yes or no? Yes? Okay. Do I believe the people who subscribe for the train content will like this? Yes or no? Yes? Okay. Push out a little more. And then that's just based on a SEO and like content idea level. It doesn't take into consideration how good the content is, doesn't take into consideration how good the thumbnail is, how compelling the title is. Like there's a lot of data to be had. But the thing you have to consider first and foremost, is it easy for YouTube to quickly identify what this content is about? If the answer is no, you need to change that. Kind of going back to what we talked about with Vigard there. Sorry, I keep using you, Vigard. It's a pretty great example of you had a very successful video, but the follow-up wasn't as successful. So hopefully you don't think I'm picking on you. I just think it's a great example. But to our support, if I had to give you a grade, I'd say very much improved. Overall, I would say I've seen the focus improvement within just what you're doing in general. Keep in mind all the things I brought up. Keep in mind those more descriptive tags. Make playlists and link back to them. Be your #1 most suggested. The best thing I can say is based on the growth, based on what I'm seeing, like you've clearly identified and connected to your audience. Just make it easier for YouTube to help you out. So I'm going to give you, based on the improvements, an easy A. So congratulations to our support. Just again, make those changes. You have made a lot since the video. So that being said, if you would like a channel review, because I know Framework Fortune asked a little bit earlier, now is the time. Again, super chats will take priority. But again, when it comes to that keyword research, essentially all a keyword is what the main focus, at least in the terms of YouTube, what your video is going to be about. So if it is Jammu and Kashmir travel, which was the case of our support, then you need to focus your description and metadata all around that main keyword, using tags, using TubeBuddy to research. So that's what I would say. And Dominic is the first I see who is asking for one. He says, I would like one. So first thing I am going to do is pull up your chat. Alright, so if I transition over. Alright. The first thing I'm seeing, Ian Dominic TV, new vlogs every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay. So this answers 2 of the 5 questions I usually have. Who it is, which is Ian Dominic TV. What they're doing. Actually, it answers 6. What they're doing and when they're doing it. But this leaves 2 that it isn't answering. Why should I subscribe to you? Because there really isn't. That's really not clear. Why should I subscribe to you? And then, how are you going to also help me? So why I should subscribe and how you're going to help the user are 2 separate things. They're very similar, but they are separate. So looking there, it's where the confusion is. I do like, and I think it's very cinematic. I'd be curious on how it deals with mobile. It might be fine, but I would be curious on that. I also, since your name is in it, I'd kind of like to see you in the banner because you are focusing around your name. But I see a cool shot, but it's not necessarily of you. I'd also argue vlogs about what? Is it about your life? Is it about filmmaking. Again, this is giving me a very filmmaking vibe, but if it's not about filmmaking, that could also be where it's confusing. So that's something I'd keep in mind. If I look here, all you have is your uploads and then you have vlogs, but I'm sure you have more content than that if I look at your playlist. Okay, so you only have the one curated. My main problem I have, you do have, is welcome back to Ladado TV. I'm sorry if I mispronounce it, but is it Ian Dominic TV, or again, there's a little bit of confusion there. I see vlogs, but you got to remember that YouTube uses playlists to be searchable. And what you're telling YouTube you're trying to compete against is vlogs. So if I typed in vlogs into YouTube search, how long would it take for me to get to your content? And again, Ian, one thing you keep saying is like, you're giving me information that to a new user, if I'm a new user, right, and I don't have you explaining me this, then I'm very confused because you're not always going to be there for a new user. So I would say first, take the time and change the name or maybe even the trailer. Second, I would make an upload playlist dedicated to this new name if you were an old one. So I'd put Ian Dominic's newest uploads, recent uploads, however you want to do it, because that can show up in a playlist and search. You also get playlist descriptions, which aren't being utilized in your vlogs playlist. So that can also help add some more clarity there. So what I want to do is how SpongeBob changed my life. I want to take a look at this. The first thing I'm seeing is a confusion. Hashtags don't work in the tag area, as you see here. They're not showing up. Hashtags work better within the description. Hashtags and tags on YouTube are two separate pieces of metadata, so this is not relevant to it. Beanie Battles, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says the description for my new video isn't great, but wondering if the titles and tags are decent. Minecraft videos are new to me. Absolutely, Beanie Battles. I will take a look at you after I take a look at our queue. So, if I look here, and Beanie, I should probably subscribe to you on the gaming channel more than my personal channel. But anyway, SpongeBob 20th anniversary, SpongeBob SquarePants. My main thing is, you said, and this is where I'm seeing this confusion. You've told YouTube the keyword focus is how SpongeBob changed my life. So this is about you specifically. That's what you've told YouTube it's about. SpongeBob 20th anniversary. The only relevant keyword here are this one and this one. Has SpongeBob changed my life? That's more of a question, not necessarily conducive into that. And Ian Dominic says there's nothing wrong with experimenting. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with experimenting. But I'm just here to show you kind of ways you can improve. It's not saying that experimenting is bad. It's just, if you ask for a channel review, I'm going to do just that. I'm going to take a look at what you're doing. So, has SpongeBob changed my life? The first thing I'm looking here is the search volume is fair. You are showing up for this, at least from what I'm seeing. Right here, how SpongeBob changed my life. The one thing I would be careful about is people might click on it, but then you're speaking, assuming Tagalog or Taglish as you put here. So that's something I'd keep in mind. And so for people where you're from, this is a great video. But always be in mind, like, if you show up, you may fall down in the rankings just due to a different language. So I do like the idea here. I do think how SpongeBob changed my life is super interesting, super compelling. It's like, well, how did it? But I'm looking here, the search isn't that bad. How SpongeBob changed my life. And as you can see, you are ranking. When you talk about how SpongeBob changed your life, how SpongeBob, another way to say this is altered my life, maybe. Maybe this is a different way people could search for it. Maybe you'll show up, maybe not. But it's, again, kind of keeping into the idea, and hell, even here, Ian Dominic, number 29. So you are showing up, but it shows how different people may search for different things. So this kind of comes into, if you're talking about how SpongeBob changed your life, you need to be consistent on that point. So SpongeBob changed my life. We'll just go here. Maybe if I can spell, it'd help a little better. But just having SpongeBob change my life, you might be showing up here too. And again, even if you're not showing up, it's just, this is where we go back into that experimenting and the tags here. And again, this video has already been up for a bit, so it's had time to rank. So this is better to do this kind of research when it first live, so you have a higher chance of staying there. But again, you also have to keep in mind, if people are clicking through, the first thing I'm seeing, if I look here, is there's no pinned comment. I'm not sure if you have, like, I see a video you're recommending. If I look at the end, there is an end screen. So you are doing the things that people recommend, but it's keeping people on. If people come for SpongeBob, right? Like, where is the way to convince them? Like, the idea is SpongeBob changed your life, you and Dominic, based on, you know, title anyway. So if I would transition, if you want to see more of my life, click here, which I'm pretty sure you might be doing. And welcome, 60-second world. So what I'm seeing here is, this is a really decent video. Again, the keyword here was how SpongeBob changed my life. Again, your life. And there are people searching for that. Again, next time you go to do a video, hyper focus in on what the video was about. In this case, how SpongeBob changed my life, if that's the video you made. I always recommend doing the keyword research first, because if I were to do keyword research, I would first type in SpongeBob life changing. You know, just maybe seeing if people are looking for that, right? SpongeBob life change. Old SpongeBob versus new, and we can see that, you know, maybe this isn't how people would search. Maybe how SpongeBob saved me. Maybe a little bit, you know, different, but it definitely would get me to wonder, well, how did SpongeBob save this person? How SpongeBob can save your life, and then maybe I put 2, like how SpongeBob can save your life, because like then it's telling people like, hey, it saved my life, but here's how it can save your life too, right? And it's keeping into that. So keep that in mind. Hello, Matt Dean, Gummy Bear Fan 942. I have a video on that on my channel, which explains how I got verified. So that's where I'd recommend you go for. But you can go to youtube.com/verify if you'd like to verify your channel, though it is not the same thing as a verification badge. But Ian Dominic, that's kind of where I would focus on. That is really high focusing on what your video is about and following through there. The reason I chose this video is because it was super compelling to make me want to click. Another thing I'm a little confused on is, based on you changing the direction, is LTV still relevant to this channel? Because I don't know. And that might be where you want to change that thumbnail up. So if I had to look here, there's some stuff I would say to keep in mind. Overall, you want to make sure that you are actually making all the stuff you are promising in your videos. So Gummy Bear Fan, if you have all the stuff, which I see you do, what I would say is, on in the article for YouTube verification, there will be a pop-up. If you don't have the pop-up, there will be a contact based on your level of subscribers. You can email YouTube from the help support forum. So go to Google, type in YouTube verification badge. There will be a help support forum that comes up, and it should say you are eligible for the badge or you are not eligible. Even if you have the subscribers, you could still not be eligible, but that's kind of based on what YouTube's looking for. That could be based on like copyright strikes, guideline strikes. So it's kind of that. So that's where I'd go for you. That's where you have to go. So overall, if I'm going to take a look back at you, Ian Dominic, I would say that there's a decent amount of stuff here, but it's very confusing. I'd probably give you a C minus, because you are above, like, you did find a decent video here. I think you're in the in-between states. Again, a C minus isn't a failing, it's passing, but I definitely think you could make some changes, get this higher. And again, this is just on a first base look at how to do it. Begard says, I'm still confused. I'm confused about Your channel still Ian? Do you hear a feedback in your headphones when you do voices? I hear it FCP. I'm assuming Final Cut Pro. It says Red Screen Ninjas. So Beanie Battles, you asked me to take a look at your channel. You said more specifically, the more recent one, Beanie Battles, Escape Reality Through Gaming. You have a subscribe call, really good. Through gaming, I guess my question would be what games. I kind of see what appears to be Grand Theft Auto. I see mobile. I see dinos based on what I know of you, Beanie. So all those things kind of keep in mind. I also know, Beanie, that you're working on this channel. You know the playlist stuff. You've grown a successful channel before. So the first thing I'm seeing here is they saved me from Topia. So what I would say would be the focus should be they saved me from Entopia. I mean, when you actually are ranking here, they save me from Entopia. There's about 12,000 videos here. The minimum to break through is 19,000, which you do have, or not 19,000, 19. Apologies. So, I mean, you are breaking through the bare minimum, but there's not that many results for this. So, I'm not sure if Entopia is known. So if I look at Entopia Minecraft, like, there's only 19 videos here. So yes, you're dominating in this, but the problem I'm having is unless I know what this very specific thing is, this might be too specific for things like that. People are liking the editing, like people are definitely kind of reacting to it. Yeah, I wasn't sure how to really describe it because it's actually a strong story among collaborators. So if it's a story about that, Minecraft survival multiplayer collab, like let's just go here, right? Maybe there's some search here, maybe not, but it's all about doing that research. So this actually doesn't have the worst. I mean, there are some videos here, like the bare minimum to break through is 3 views. There's a little better search, but again, it's kind of, if it's a collab, it's hard because you're not sure how to describe it. So my thing is if you're not sure, how is YouTube going to be sure? Because you are ranking where you did target, but past that, it's hard to say. I mean, he says he's surprised. He's ranking for a few tags. Midnight Madness says, "What about Minecraft and Topia Survival?" Well, it's not bad. So Minecraft and Topia, I'll add survival. Oh. So if we add survival, maybe there's some different results here. So there's only about 66 video results. Again, it's really poor in the search. So while you may be able to dominate it, it's the whole idea is that there's really not that much search. And the video amount, like all you need is 20 views, very low. So I'd say keep that into your consideration. But Beanie, I don't think that it's bad. I'd say Minecraft SMP World of Solitude Season 3, and then maybe they save me from Topia, like maybe the Minecraft SMP World of Solitude Season 3. World of Solitude Season 3 seems to be a little more search, but again, these are all some pretty low search terms. This one's actually pretty decent. So maybe if you focus a little bit, World of Solitude Season 3, they saved me from Entopia might be a little better, right? Because most people seem to know this. And if you look here, the #1 optimized video doesn't even have this. So like if I'm looking into the bare minimum, like this does have better search than current. So it comes down to doing that keyword research. Like this is about what we just talked about, World of Solitude Season 3. So there is some search here. It's not terrible, but it's also it's very difficult to rank for it, especially one being in Minecraft and the resurgence of Minecraft. You are in an upswing and you're kind of early to it, which is good. But that's something I'd keep in mind, Beanie, especially when it comes to that kind of thing. So I may focus a little bit more on World of Solitude Season 3 for now, since it's newer. But that's something to keep in mind. Hey, says the Urban Explorer. Hello, Neil. Good to see you here. Hopefully everyone can hear me perfectly. My wrench is gone. Oh yeah, I don't think I have it on this channel for you. 1 second. Gotta change that. I always end up setting myself up with challenging videos. Beanie, you have a knack of doing that. That's all I can say. That is all I can say. You do have a very consistent way of making videos that are decently challenging for most people, but that's something I always respect about you. Say that, Beanie. So, if I look back here, Entopia, they saved me from Entopia. World of Solitude Season 3, they saved me from Entopia. I might even go with World of Solitude Season 3, Minecraft SMP, they saved me from Entopia. I'm just as guilty, says Charlie. The Urban Explorer, thank you so much for the super chat, Neil. I do appreciate it. You were added. Probably subscribe to you channel too. There. So I have seen this channel. So it's all about keeping that level of consistency. Looking here, Beanie, though, I'd say again the focus is World of Solitude Season 3, Minecraft SMP. They saved me from Entopia, but that's more for a temp thing. For long-term SEO, this might be a little bit better, but again, it is kind of difficult because it is very competitive. So with that, hopefully, Beanie, that gives you some things to think about. If I had to give your channel a grade, though, I like the banner. Doesn't tell me why I should subscribe. I do like that you're telling me I should subscribe. Escape reality. Okay, escape reality through gaming is why I should subscribe. But I don't necessarily know how you're going to benefit the user or me, that user. And also, I don't know when to expect uploads. Is it weekly, monthly, daily? I mean, 1 year, 2 months, 6 days, kind of everywhere. Could just be that it's a test channel, which I understand that completely. Yeah, just some things to think about, Beanie. If I was to give you a grade, I'd also probably give you a C minus, mostly because I know you know better. So, because I know you know better, I want to see some of those changes. Oh, wait. Gotta change my grade. A plus. Featured. You can buy my. No, I'm joking. More serious. I'd give you a C minus because I know you know better, Beanie. The guard, I forgot. I should give you the wrench as well. So, all right. That is going to be it, though, Beanie. Again, keep in mind, hopefully you've enjoyed that. Now, time to take a look over at Urban Explorer. Don't worry, I do know that I am not on there. You can hear the sick editing. So, if I take a look over at Neil's channel, what I want to do is if I transition, the Urban Explorer, welcome to the Urban Explorer, how to install a shower van version, self-built van for. So, looking here, the first thing that I would say, Urban Explorer, van life repairs, conversions, travel. Branded warfare. The first thing I would say is I know it's about van life, repairs, conversions, travel. I do kind of love this image here. I like the Urban Explorer. I like that branding. I think it looks really awesome. The first thing I would say, though, is this kind of content, van life content's in an upswing, Neil, which is really good. The main thing I would keep in mind, right? Like, if you're focusing on van life specifically, I see self-built DIY van modifications you can do. I would maybe, instead of DIY van modifications you can do is a lot more searchable and compelling than self-built camper. I might put DIY van modifications you can do and then put dash self-built camper just as a thing there. I also don't know why I should subscribe. You put the subscribe link, so I don't know why I should subscribe. I don't know when you plan to make content live. And I don't know, actually I do know how you're going to make it better, but again, that not having a why that's kind of present is one thing I'm lacking. I would also just be super careful when it comes here. Since you have this subscribe call out, I'd actually maybe draw a little more attention to it. I do like how you have your merchandise. That makes sense. Again, if you're going to link out, at least try to have something that is going to bring you value again. If I look here, though, I would definitely put, since you're about van life, maybe put the Urban Explorer recent uploads. Maybe put, instead of van life random videos, put, if you don't or have plans for it, you should do your life in the van or something like that, where you kind of just talk about a daily day in your van life, because I do think that's super interesting. If your keywords are disappearing after you post a video, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, Red Screen. That's a little confusing. If you can give me a little more context, it'd be great. Thank you. Looking here, though, Neil, I, again, just keep the Urban Explorer. I know that you're newer, so maybe instead of, maybe you can put new to the Urban Explorer, start here if you don't want to have like a recent uploads, like if you don't think you have enough to warrant that. Even then, the 3 you do have can help you a lot here. One thing I'm seeing though is you have higher viewership than your sub count, which is good. You do have a decent sub count to viewer ratio though. It's more how are you going to bring new people in. If I look here, welcome to the Urban Explorer, how to install a shower in a van conversion. So immediately don't want to get demonetized. Boom. So go ahead and drop you a like. Thanks for watching. I have so many more videos to come. You're doing some good best practices here. Hello, Mike Phillips. Great to see you here. So one thing I would say is you're focusing on how to install a shower in a van, and then you have conversion. So how to install a shower in your van, how to install a shower in a van, how to install a shower in a. Looking here, 87 views, van conversion, shower and toilet. I do like and I get shower in a drawer. One thing you're competing against is a bunch of other people. You're number 30, which isn't bad. One thing I would say is looking at your description, installing a shower in a van tailgate can be cheap and easy. How to install a shower in a van conversion cheap and easily. Again, because like here's a great example of this is very optimized for search. So maybe you can put how to install a shower in a van conversion easily and cheaply or something like that to convince people in the van life to click, right? Another thing to keep in mind is how to install a shower. This is very good for your niche specifically. So van shower DIY. I don't know if I'd go for DIY. I might go for installation. And looking here, it's more van life shower installation. So there is a lot of competition for it. But if I look at the minimum required, all right, I may not go for that. But van life shower install, maybe I go for easy, right? Like I go for the easy kind of look, easy van life shower installation. Maybe that gives me a little more comparable results. Cheap and easy. So again, people are looking for affordable, right? So maybe if I go for affordable, which is just this is another way to put cheap. So if I put affordable, the results come less and less, and it becomes easier and easier to kind of rank. Because how to install a shower in a van conversion isn't bad, but I'm not sure if it compels people. And I know that you have a super sick camper. So first, is you said can be cheap and easy. It makes the most of the space. So if this is cheap and easy, I would put a, going back to doing kind of some of this research, affordable van life shower installation. That might be a little bit better, right? Because if this is about your van life, affordable shower installation, van life shower installation makes sense. Again, it's how is this compelling and helpful, right? Like how to easily how to spell install shower, how to easily install a shower in a van. Again, people are looking for easy. They're looking for ways that is super simple. So anything that you can do to help make it seem easy, because it may not necessarily be the easiest, but if you can make it appear to be easy, that's what matters. Welcome, Car Galaxy Studios. Great to have you. The van life. I so want a van. I'm jealous, says only Claire Jones. And I see that you have your van life, DIY camper, camper van, Urban Explorer merch. And again, one thing I'm seeing is you have a lot of comments. You say check now. So how to install a van. I go here, affordable and easy van life shower installation. So with that, that's a lot better, at least in terms of how I'd say you can focus on it. So based on that, affordable and easy van life shower installation, it might do a little bit better. How to install a van shower. Because that's more compelling. And the video isn't that long. So what I'd say is I would definitely start focusing a little bit more on the SEO tags and such, and also working on making the description be a little bit more into this. Another thing I would say is instead of just typing in van life, I'd maybe do van life shower, just because that probably has different results. So if we do hashtag van life shower, who knows? Van life shower. So here we can see van life shower has different results. But if you look, you actually are showing up for van life shower, but that also could be based on the bias of the new tag. So all these things, you got to keep in mind. But to help you out here, we'll go ahead and do that. Taking a look back at the channel, that play in the background for you, get you that watch time, Neil. Welcome to the Urban Explorer, self-camper DIY van modifications you can do. Overall, I don't think it's bad. I would say, based on what I'm seeing, I would like to see maybe something that is for returning subscribers, right? Like this can be your newest upload. It could be a playlist. Just something here. It is an option you get within the YouTube customization options. So if I go to my channel specifically, if I go to customize channel, which you gotta love that YouTube's like, use our new things. Also YouTube, you get the 4 returning subscribers. So I actually might want to change this myself, which I'll do it here with you. You can feature your latest content. You can feature a playlist if you want. So I'm going to feature my latest film because I always try to do that. So this film, should you go to VidCon, and it shows like this, where it shows for like your returning subscribers. So this is actually something you can do similar for new subscribers. Although, because for my new subscribers I have this, but again, if they're a new subscriber, they're returning, I still do really want them to check this out. So that's something I'd recommend doing, especially for you, Neil. I'm looking here. So if I click on the Urban Explorer, that's something I'd like to see on this page. It's something really simple and easy you can do. I love being able to manually change the new video with newest videos playlist title with that cheeky trick. So yeah, that's something I just keep in mind. I do think that you have some good content. It's more how do you get this out there? Because I know you know what you're talking about, but how do you show other people you know what you're talking about, right? So self-built van tour, my first thing, if I'm looking here, right, if I go look at self-built van tour, the first thing I think of, especially for you, Neil, is the minimum to break through on the first page of search is, can your video get 10,100 views? I don't necessarily think within the first week it can. So self-built van tour, it's got a lot of results. It's very good search volume. My thing would be is look at your weighted score and look at, can you realistically get 10,000 views within this video, right? So that's something I'd keep in mind. So if I'm looking here, I see van tour. And then looking here, van tour's got some decent search. And then what makes you unique, right? Like I'm seeing after 2 years, van tour with bathroom, van tour van life seems to be searchable. Van tour van life UK is actually has some decent search, so people are looking. You are from the UK, so this might be better, right? Van tour life UK. So self built, I might, and since you're focusing on that self built aspect, self built van tour van life UK, you might have a little bit different results, but it might be a little bit different. Again, it's all going to be based on your niche. Car Galaxy said, how about unweighted though? That seems more conservative. Correct. Unweighted is literally just that. It has no channel to take into consideration, right? So if you do have a new channel and you are looking at these tags and you do see them, like knowing how the minimum you need to break through based on your viewership is actually super crucial, because if I know that I'm not hitting 1,000 video views per new upload, I might want to focus on something that's easier for me to break through and start. Again, unweighted is just that. It has no data to work on. So looking at that, it's one of those things to keep in mind. Unweighted doesn't, you shouldn't discount unweighted, but if I know that this is the bare minimum I need to rank and I'm trying to rank in search, Power Galaxy Studios says this channel is so new, however, the raw topics, exactly, which is why choosing keywords and choosing topics where people are searching for, but he also has a good chance of showing up really matters. Also got to give that thumbs up just because of the Tube Buddy shirt there, and also I need help with the whole keyword magic, I think. Thank you so much, Mike Phillips, for the super chat. I see your streamer there. Let's do a review. Go to channel URL. So I do like that this is a van tour, right? So like when we go back to just what this is a van tour. Is this a solo van tour solo? Because I don't know, right? Like this is where you can van tour. So you're focusing on a van tour, maybe camper van tour, maybe more broad, but maybe more people, right? Again, what I'm looking for is something that even for your size of channel, you have a good chance to stand out in. But right now, your niche is more competitive than ever. So even if it is super competitive, you can look at the unweighted. What I would say more for you is I would look at the monthly search that is available. We had like 1.8K new monthly searches isn't terrible. So camper van tour UK might be better because we know that the other one has some search. But again, it's finding things that are being searched. I usually target the unweighted when doing my research. Is this again Car Galaxy Studios? If I can take a look at how my channel performs, why would I not utilize the information that I can use my own data against other people? Like by doing a general one, it's not that the data is bad, it's just it's not specific to you. The more specific you can be to your channel gives you more realistic expectations. Like a lot of times people can have a lot of good ranking keywords, but their videos and their viewership based on their current size doesn't match up the minimum requirement to show up in search there. So you can either have a really compelling video that can show up in search in that new week, and you hope that you have enough viewership that over time you stay there, which a lot of people are able to do, myself included. Or you can kind of look for other ways people are searching that still gives you a chance to show up for that high ranking term, but you still have a more realistic chance of getting viewership. Again, using the weighted lets you use your channel into the consideration, and it's only available for pro or higher. Regards says that is something I think I learned tonight. Need to keep that in consideration. What did you learn tonight? So if I go back to looking at Neil here, I one thing I'm seeing is you said this is a van tour, right? So like I see these conversion ideas, conversion campers, how to, tiny house. If I'm YouTube and I see that you're calling this a van tour, but then I see tiny house, camper van, conversion camper, simple living, alternate living. While I get how it is relevant, it could get confusing for YouTube, right? Like, is this a van tour, or is this about tiny houses, or is this about how you converted your camper, or is it about simple or alternate living? You're confusing YouTube almost with too much. Too much data can be just as bad as too little. Because if you're telling it it's multiple different things all at the same time, YouTube gets a little bit confused. So based on what I'm seeing here, this is about your van tour. I'd say the more specific you can get to start for a van tour might be very good for you. So you could be like let's go here, like seeing BWT4 camper. Like, let's start there. We'll use that as our starting point. BWT4 camper van tour. And I do see you there, Charlie. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Hey, Andrew, could I get a review, some advice on my 360-degree onboard camera videos if you have time? I'll put the playlist of them as top playlist. Thank you. Do appreciate that. And remember to change that playlist. I do have to remember that up super chats. So go ahead and put all of this here. So here we are. BWT4 camper van tour. More focus on the keywords. Don't confuse you. So BWT4 camper van tour actually has some decent, at least based on kind of what I'm seeing. Again, you're in a competitive niche. It doesn't mean it's the end. It's just the more specific you can give YouTube, because it's so new, you do get that boost of the new tag, which is something also you have to consider, folks. Is like YouTube is trying to help smaller creators buy that new tag. New tag boost your content up highest. However, if there are a lot of videos being made on a subject and that new tag, you lose that boost, well, then your video falls down in the ranks. Again, when YouTube gives you that new tag, it's YouTube literally trying to help your channel do better. It is them saying, here you go. Here's what it's about. We'll see what happens. But if it underperforms, YouTube's going to see it's been up for 20 hours and is at 10 views. It's like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't put our money on this one. You got to think of how YouTube would look at it. Power Galaxy Studio says, makes sense, Andrew. I'm guessing my data is probably skewed. I often have weighted not working to my favor as my channel has a lot of variety in it. And again, that's where if you have a lot of variety, YouTube then, if I'm YouTube, right, and I see a channel that has multiple different types of content, then it's pretty much a gamble on when I should put my money and bets in trying to suggest the content. Which is why finding variety within a niche, or niche, depending on how you say it, is really important. But Neil, I think that you have good content. Like I know that you do. It's just finding the best way to get your content in front of viewers. Right? One thing I would say for you is start researching things people in the van life community may be looking like. Why I chose van life, just as just something there. I mean, the minimum is 55, right? Like if I know I need 55 views, I'm pretty sure why we chose van life, maybe why I chose van life, why you should too, right? Why I chose van life, why you should too. It's even better. Still has some decent search. And again, that's actually, we're having that niche. Life's a niche, you know? That's what I always say. But you see, if I say niche, I can't say life's a niche, which is my favorite. So much to learn here. But again, if you see, Neil, like this is actually a super good video for you based on like the minimum requirements of view. required to get there. Why I chose van life, and maybe the why you should too could be the compelling element for you. But like, it's super low to break through. I definitely think your story on that would be interesting, and it also could then make a little more personal connection to you, the urban explorer. So that's something I'd keep in mind. Overall, though, you did say you changed your channel, so let me refresh the banner. Adventure for weekly van life content, click here. All right, I like it, Neil. Just make sure I would maybe move this over just a slight bit for those desktop users, but overall I do like the kind of backdrop here. I like that. For weekly van life content, click here. I like how we have a clear color scheme. I like how you have the van you have specifically. Maybe something you can kind of think about in like a graphic design is maybe you could make these like your two van headlights, maybe get someone to do like a van outline, since these are your van specifically, and then you have like the outline of a van, which, please don't make fun of my terrible drawing skills here. You know what, this is now a van. You're gonna have to deal with my awful drawing. That's what it is. I always get information overload. Again, Vigard, if you feel like you're getting too much, go ahead, take a breath. Go ahead and start applying this. Take notes. Do whatever you need to do. So, I do love the header, though, Neil, says Car Galaxy Studios. And I do think it does look amazing. I like it a lot. The Urban Explorer, nice channel, says Dr. Sten. Dr. Sten, congratulations on 100,000 subscribers. I want to talk about amazing growth. Dr. Sten has been killing it. But looking here, if I had to give this channel a grade, I know you know what you're doing. Good thumbnails, really good understanding of playlists. You've optimized since doing this. I mean, this for me, Neil, is an easy B plus. I would say, just since we're focusing on keyword research, that's why it's not named. I'd say focus on things that for your smaller channel that you can actually kind of stand out for, and also have a better chance of being more personable. Again, this is a newer channel, so you get the opportunity to experiment more than someone who's more established considerably. So I would use that to the strongest of your ability. So with that, let me know what you think of Neil's channel. I think, Neil, you have a really good channel. I know you had that TubeBuddy legend, so make the most of it. And of course, let Neil know what. It's the little tweaks. Andrew Can, thank you. Neil, thank you. And I wish you all the best on it. I hope you do consider making a video about why I chose van life, why you should too, or something like that, because that's very searched, but not that competitive. And you could have something there that can really help people. So we have Mike Phillips. Mike, who I know you get help from Hybrid Steel. Are you a good leader? New heights of leadership success. Leadership is learned behavior that over time becomes unconscious, automatic. People who are successful leaders share many common characteristics. Leaders. First off, incredible when it comes to your playlist. I like your thumbnails a lot here. Very colorful. Are you a good leader? The only thing I would say is maybe a little more separation in the background, but even then I can really tell what it is. Would you follow you? I like that question. Leadership lessons, leadership tips from Grant Cardone. I might say Grant Cardone leadership tips if I were just take a look at the SEO there, but you might search. Very well thought out playlist, super easy. If I want anything, then we have the popular uploads to popular playlist. I would maybe at your size, Mike, say Mike Phillips popular uploads, but again, just for that searchability, because you might have people searching for you. If I look here, lead the team with Mike Phillips, motivation, inspiration, grow your leadership. We have the click to subscribe, but why? Why you? Yeah, I'm assuming the why could be the motivation, inspiration, growth. Yep. My why is the idea that if I can, you can too. So that's why I usually tell people. So maybe you could say, lead the team with Mike Phillips, motivation, inspiration, grow your leadership. Subscribe to become a better leader today. Something like that. Even if you put it here, subscribe to be the best leader you can be. Something of that nature, which will definitely kind of reach regard. So I don't know if you wanted me to take a look at a specific video. Your super chat did unfortunately fade away, Mike. So if you do have something, go ahead and let me know. Regards says better tagline might do. And again, since you're teaching me about leadership, grow your leadership, subscribe to be a better leader today would be a super compelling reason to subscribe. I'm like, all right, I want to be a better leader. Done. Channel trailer, lead the team, Mike Phillips. This isn't that optimized for search. That'd be my only thing. I do love the playlist. I think the thumbnails are good. Only bit of like advice, especially if you're not in the thumbnail, is maybe a little way for me using maybe that lion here. Like maybe you have the lion grabbing something in the corner. So if I am a fan of yours and I see this in search, I know to click. Thank you so much, Turtle Creativity, who says, Andrew, please review me. I would love your input. Absolutely. You are added to the queue behind. Actually, I'll let that play. Get everyone that. Leadership is tough niche, and even my tough one to optimize. Which is true. I mean, you are in a very competitive niche, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. Again, it's just having what I'd say. So, leadership behaviors, Mike Phillips, leadership. So, this is all about Grant Cardone. I actually only see him once here, right? So, Grant Cardone, leadership tips, right? And boom, there you are, just by doing some simple SEO stuff. Hello, 30-day reviews. Andrew's gonna have to shave his head and grow a beard now. Have to step up since Nimmons haven't been doing it. The about page is talking about him. It doesn't feel like coming from him, but talking of him. So only Claire, that could actually just be because for YouTube optimization standards, like the way YouTube looks at an about page, is it's actually like, let me take a look here, because it could just be very well optimized for YouTube. Mike Phillips shares leadership tools, sales training, skills, motivations to help you grow. Now, this is actually, looking here, this is actually kind of how YouTube prefers it, because YouTube is looking at this like a video description. The more you repeat kind of the key aspects, this is actually pretty fair. Like, it doesn't make sense for a user, but the way YouTube looks at a channel about, this is actually pretty much perfect. So it's also understanding like YouTube's looking at it versus how people look at it. And if it does feel too corporate, that might be something you could take note of, Mike. But even then, I've been working on an unboxing video while listening to Andrew. I just opened the box on video and it was full of ants. Denim and ants can't hold me back. So I like how to be a leader. So maybe we keep this, and I'm not, again, this is where you know what you've talked about. Grant Cardone, how to be a leader, might make sense to you. And if your video does show up, that's something to keep in mind. And it is showing up as number 22. So again, a lot of the focus here should be about like leadership tips from Grant Cardone. I would maybe flip this and go Grant Cardone leadership tips, because yes, people might be looking for leadership tips. You're not ranking for it. So maybe if we like leadership behaviors, you're actually ranking for this. So maybe leadership tips with Grant Cardone could be another one you kind of look for here. Not the most, but it is something. And again, if you are the answer that's showing up, I don't think it's a bad thing. So again, leadership behaviors. Again, it's an understanding of the SEO. I'm furious changing things on the fly. Ants was a good movie, says Turtle Creativity. That's an old one there, but you know, it definitely wasn't a stolen one. But Mike Phillips, I'm seeing some decent stuff. It's just understanding that what you've told YouTube this video is about is leadership tips from Grant Cardone. You need to honor that in your description tags. This video, I'm sharing 3 key leadership tips from Grant Cardone. Perfect. How to be a great leader with Grant Cardone. To be a great leader, Grant Cardone, which again, not sure you are showing up. Again, when you focus it around that, that's what I keep in mind. And Mike Phillips says, thanks, just wanting a feel for how you are keyword researching too. again, I always focus on the main keyword you told me this is about is Grant Cardone leadership tips. Like that's pretty much what YouTube's going to say. Like it's leadership tips, but what makes your tips different is it's from Grant Cardone. So knowing that it's about leadership tips, but really the keyword here is no longer leadership tips, it's leadership tips with or from, in your case, Grant Cardone. So you need to really hyper focus in on that in both your tags and description. And as long as you are, and I know you are honoring that, as long as you're doing that, then that's really going to help you in search, because then people who love Grant Cardone's style, they're like, wow, I learned some great tips from Mike here. Well, you know what? If I want more great tips like this, I should just hit that subscribe button. And then for you, Mike, because what I'm seeing here is Evan has a lot of videos. I see you have another video here. I would also check, like, you have more here. You're doing really well there. I would maybe focus a little bit more on, if you're doing the tips, really kind of focus in on that. And like maybe you are known as someone who breaks down the leadership styles and tips for that. There's nothing wrong with that. I know you have a really good chance there. So, new heights of leadership success, leadership behaviors. And because you called this like leadership tips and you have leadership behaviors, maybe like you can then say, hey, do you want to learn some of the skills that Grant Cardone implements? Here's a playlist, things like that. Only Claire Jones says, I like listening to your views and giving my opinion helps me understand more. And I appreciate your opinion, Only Claire Jones. Like, don't, like, I always have to stress this. Like, just because I may disagree doesn't mean I don't want your opinion. So, thank you. And thank you, everyone who's been watching early in the morning with me. I have been going for 90 minutes. This is no Nimmin Live. I don't know if it will be the length of a Nimmin Live. I think my girlfriend would be like, hey, where are you? But I do appreciate everyone joining me here this morning. But Grant, I think your channel is killing it. I think the main thing, just kind of because this is a more keyword research focus, is just really hone in on kind of like what you're talking about or what makes your videos unique. So what I would say for you is I'm going to give you an A minus. I mean, your channel is super strong, very well optimized. I mean, it's just the only reason it's not higher is because of the one video I looked at SEO purposes. But even then, like, you have a really good channel, so I don't think that's a bad thing. Looking here, Midnight Madness 4x4. We have Tough Truck Racers, Crashes, and more. Click to subscribe. Midnight Madness 4x4. Perfect. Recently, I know you've hit 3,000. Congratulations. That's a Brian G tip. Oh, she can watch you too if she misses. I missed one super chat. Hold on, trying to scroll up. Urban Explorer. Who did I miss? Because I have Turtle Creativity. Miss someone? Turtle Creativity. I'm sorry if I missed someone. Please let me know. So you asked, if I scroll back up here, what did you ask? Hey Andrew, can I get a review advice for my 360-degree onboard camera videos? If you have time, I'll put the playlist at the top. All right, I'll take a look at, I'll just pick this one. So Tough Truck 360 camera on. I remember you do get these playlist descriptions, so the more you can describe this playlist, kind of what it is, the better it'll do for purposes. Maybe you never at Andrew. Well, me, flies in and out. I have to learn again. Goes back to that sponge analogy I gave. A sponge is useless if it has water. Drop a life. So Tough Truck 360 camera on board at Disorder at border 6818. So Disorder at the border, Tough Trucks. Number of video in search, pretty poor. It is a cool video. I guess it's understand. Actually, this is. Sorry. I do like the ability to see this. I think that's awesome. And you are experimenting in new technology, right? So so you say 360 camera car, 360 camera. It seems like you're a little more focused on the fact that this is a 360 camera on board at Disorder, right? So if I look here, right, if I know this is 360 camera truck, like this is 360-degree camera truck, looking here, minimum required is 179. Like you in theory should be ranking for this. So 360-degree camera truck, like looking here, it's this is a hard one because truck 360 camera. There's the searches per month is good on this, like 850 considering this is a newer tech. New Universal 360 camera sneak peek. What I would say for you is tough truck 360 camera. Like the tough is the part where you've made it more specific. But I'm not sure. Like if I look here and if I type in tough, like is this a specific camera brand? Because I don't know. So you are ranking for this and you're owning it, right? But the thing is, you own the top spots in something that it's got some other videos, but really all you need is 4 views to break in here. Like I technically could break in. Like most people could break in here, so the problem becomes maybe truck 360 camera. Like I don't know what tough is, so that's where it's become. Yeah, it's a Rilo 360. So my question would be, what's the point of tough here? That way your videos act as an actual preview, review example of the camera in action. Truck race in 360 degrees is something that Car Galaxy Studio brings up. I actually kind of like that. Truck race 60. Let's just type that in. Maybe 360 turbo track to 360-degree spin and still wins. It becomes that there are other things people are searching for that are similar to that. So truck race in 360, there is this one. People seem to be caring a little bit more about the car crash, but I mean there is a chance there. I don't disagree. I think that might be more searchable. I mean, you definitely hit the minimum. I wouldn't necessarily change what you're already doing for it. Tough trucks is a motorsport I race in. Then based on, I mean, this is a great example of this video search wise, like you're hitting the idea of what you want to do for this video. But this might be going back into the Hero Hub and help content. This might just be a piece of like hub content, which means like this is for your subscribers and will have a harder time in the broader search. Help, of course, is to help get new people in. Hero is a combination that can help you grow. Again, I have a video on this, but Charlie, based on what you wanted to do, you kind of did it, but it's understanding, are you using this for your core audience or are you using this to try to grow? Because like this just kind of comes down to like the content type itself is really not for like everyone if you're going to focus it in the way you have. Now, other ways you can focus it on is maybe being like inside a racing truck 360 degrees, something like that. And Beanie Draw says, I think it has search potential for those wanting to watch more examples of 360 cameras. And absolutely it does. You just have to create a piece of content that hones in on that want. So I don't think these are bad pieces of content. I think it's how do I shape this content to not just be for my core audience. That's always where it kind of comes in as you as a creator. And that's a great advice from just looking from Car Galaxy Studios here. It says truck race with 360 camera, tough truck race, right? So why don't we go truck 360 camera race? Because I do like this because there's 850 and this actually wouldn't be bad. Truck 360 camera race. There's some decent search here, I'd say. And then maybe you can go tough. Well, actually, if I want to keep it here, tough truck race. So if I go here, we might have different results as we're seeing. But again, the minimum's not bad. It's pretty much figuring it out the best for you and understanding, is this the kind of content that does have that long-standing longevity past just my core audience? Because that's always something like when it comes to SEO and keyword research, is like you got to understand going in, is this a piece of helpful content, a piece of hub content, or is it a hero piece? Right? Like a hero piece can combine those first two and go beyond just your audience. Only Claire says I'm going to be lurking as I go to cook dinner, as I got to cook dinner. I know 360 cameras are going to be an ever-growing niche as those cameras get more accessible, and popular. Absolutely, PA. So, Charlie, I think you're on the forefront of this. It's how do you find a way to not just be specific to your niche. Again, I like niche because I can say life's a niche, but it goes into I think you have something. How do you make it one that your core audience will like it, but also a broader audience will like it? But also you have to understand is if you start getting a lot of people in for the 360 camera stuff, they may not care about your truck racing. So that kind of comes into what do you want to do with it? Andrew, did you ever know you're my hero? That sounds like the Logan Paul song. Logan, you're my hero. That one? Yeah. So affordable, easy van. So again, Charlie, I don't think it's bad. I think it comes down to I think that it's cool. I think maybe describing it a little better. And if you want to keep doing that content, which is unique, find ways to be broader but more specific to that audience. So overall, if I had to give your channel a grade, I would just say that I think you have great content. Like you have very well optimized thumbnails, playlists. Looking at the SEO there, you actually are doing really well for it. So you're a solid A here. It's not that you're doing stuff wrong. That was a song long before Logan touched it. Meaning I know, but it just reminds me of that one. It's the first one that comes to mind because we're on the YouTube platform. But you see, I would prefer if she's holding out for a hero to the end. You know that one good. But Turtle Creativity is asking for some feedback. Avantgarde, you said I missed one. I looked. I'm not sure if I did. Maybe I'm blind. But if I did miss your super chat, please let me know. And since this is, I think this is the last super chat, I think that if you want a free channel review, please let me know because I want to make sure that people who are here still get that value too. Okay, I want to make sure I was on the right track. Thanks, Andrew, and I'll see what else I can do with this camera. Susie Valentine, Realtor, welcome. We have 2 realtors. Chat. Paul, brother. Vigard, I didn't realize you were such a good fan. Vigard, you're a huge Paul Brothers fan. I know that. Vigard watches all the recent uploads, you know? You know those 2 bald, beautiful... Oh, wait. Those are the Nimmons, not the Pauls. Sorry. Just had to have a little bit of fun. All right. Looking here, Circuit, Chalk Couture, Turtle Creativity, Circuit and Chalk Couture, Chalk Tutorials, and more. All right. I like how I can see you immediately. I like how I know what you're about. You're doing Chalk Couture, which is Circuit and Chalk Couture, craft tutorials, and more. So I know what you're doing. What I would say, since you're doing chalk, is maybe like you can make your own hand-drawn arrow out of chalk to this, because that would like kind of keep on brand and also allow you to do there. And since that's something to kind of keep in mind, since you have this beautiful green color, our color picker here. Craft tutorials, candy from a clay pot, DIY candy jars, clay pot, marble nail polish mug, heart-shaped felt pillow, melted crayon art, turtle. So the thing you say is chalk couture. So one thing I would say is keep in mind when you're doing these things, like the first thing I see is your general craft tutorials. I don't necessarily know what this means per se. When I hear this, I think of just straight up chalk art. So maybe I'm wrong in my assumption there. 30-day review says if I got another review, he would be saying the same thing as usual. LOL, my tags suck, my titles suck. 30-day reviews, they don't suck, but are you working on them? That'd be my question. Because like that's the thing is don't be a sponge that is absorbing so much that you're again a sponge that has too much water is useless. You got to know when to release the information, and that's where I'd maybe make some tag lists, follow along with me, do some things like that. It's not that you suck; it's just improvement. Like no one talks about like I sucked for probably 900 videos before I ever got good at SEO, and when I did get good at SEO, it was completely by accident. And then it was how can I recreate those accidental successes till I started understanding. And then only through failing a bunch do you ever get good. Like you gotta eat crap a lot before you ever become great. That's at least what I've found in my life. Sometimes I do. It says 30-day reviews. Well, maybe you should do it for 30. I do SEO for 30 days straight, 30-day reviews. I'd love to see that. Chalk Couture is chalk art, so you are correct. Chalk Couture has chalk and ink products. Christina Smallhorn says, I just changed my thumbnails and channel art. Can you give me your opinions of how they look to me? Well, since you've asked. Sure. Transition back. Know how to add a border granny square crochet tutorial. I like how you break it down per everything you're doing uniquely. I will say your thumbnails are pretty great. If I look here, I'm not sure if you gave me a specific video. Andrew, please review me. I would love your input. I like your theming of the, it kind of reminds me of Mardi Gras. Maybe that's just because I was in South for so long, like the green, the yellow, maybe add some purple because I know the color does do well, but maybe you also don't want to be Mardi Gras colors. That's just something that I think of. Chalk Couture made easy. I would say since that this is something you are kind of promoting heavily, I would maybe put your Chalk Couture first and then maybe your craft tutorials. Or one thing I would keep in mind is like craft tutorials, that's great, but are they easy? Because again, think of how someone would search and how this playlist would show up. That's always important. I'd also say you have room to say like new videos when, like right here, like you have a lot of unused space, and I'd use that to give more info to the user. I'd also be curious how this is showing on mobile, but it might be perfect to where it's cut off at the right ways. Chalk Couture. So 30-day review says I need to figure out how to jazz up my thumbnails with bright colors, but my channel isn't a bright color channel, so it would clash if I did it. One thing I've learned 30-day reviews, and this is something I've done more recently, is I've let one of my friends design a thumbnail for me based on based on the video idea and just knowing me how they do it. And I was actually very surprised with what they came up with, and I actually ended up liking a few of their designs. So I'd say maybe try something new, see if it works. Again, the worst thing you can do is the same thing over and over again and not get different results, but expect different. That is actually my new taglines: making crafting and crochet easily. Then perfect. It's a great tagline. One thing I'd say is I want to take a look at some of your SEO. So this one's had a little bit of time to kind of do well. So DIY candy jars, clay pot, candy dish. I like your background a lot. I think it's very bright. It looks pretty good. So clay pot, candy dish. You're ranking for this. Making candy jars. So DIY candy jars, right? DIY candy table jars, making candy jars, cute candy jar ideas. So the thing that I'm seeing here that should be ranking is candy jar DIY. So DIY candy jars. Again, you're really close to the minimum requirement to break through. And if I look here, honestly, I'd keep where you're at. Like most of what you're kind of struggling with here is like you're so close to being able to break through. Because like 362, the only thing I'd say is it's kind of poor. Looking here though, this is like if you want to make another video like this, I kind of like this, like DIY candy jar Dollar Tree, like a more affordable way to do this. And hey, who knows? Maybe you are ranking for this if we look here. maybe not. But again, there's a lot of DIY candy jar tutorials, like things that people are genuinely looking for. But if what I'm looking for here is you have Dollar Tree DIY, so DIY candy jars Dollar Tree. So if I'm looking here, the thing I'm seeing here is that you only mentioned the Dollar Tree point here. Another thing I'm looking at is do not do this. You are basically shooting yourself in the foot. This should be all utilized within SEO because by putting the characters down there, the less and less likely you are to rank. I want you to put DIY candy jars, or in this video I show you, or maybe learn how to make DIY candy jars, something like that. Make it an actual description because this should not be happening. It should be very consistent one after the other. Only Claire Jones says, okay, don't be hard on me. It's all for fun. New banner being made. All right, that being said, I'm going to be extra hard on you. That's right. No more. Now, joking. I'll take that into consideration. Still here, says Star UK, Star TV. Thank you. 30-day review says, thanks. Thank you, sir. That means a lot, man. Cheers. 30-day review says, loves your walkthrough. Yeah, one thing I have started to do is making the product much bigger and not worrying the whole product is showing or not. You can take a look if you want. All right, I might. So again, one thing I'm seeing here, Turtle Creativity, is I would say DIY candy jars you're ranking for. The clay pot candy dish, maybe not so much. So I'd say DIY candy jars, make awesome candy jars from Dollar Tree or something that'd be more compelling for a user, right? Because there is something there that's compelling, right? Like if I can do this for like $5, well then that's actually something I never thought of. Like I can do this for $5. That's awesome. Again, try to think of ways to compel someone to click. If I were to give you a grade, I would say that you have really solid like thumbnail ideas. Like I like how it looks. There's a very clear color. Mike Phillips says, hey, on that SEO life, is it best to order your tags in order of relevance? I don't know how Morning Fame does it, so you're going to have to excuse me. Or is it very important? Can you just drop in tag ideas? Again, YouTube, you need to do it as users would search. Most of the time, users search for what they care about, and it's the compelling element that matters most. So you focus on the search first, put the most searchable part up first. So for you, like your leadership tips with Grant Cardone, what made it unique is it should have been Grant Cardone leadership tips, right? But you put leadership tips with, or from, sorry, not with, from. Want to be, don't put tags and titles in your mouth. But the idea is the part that makes yours unique was Grant Cardone, and more people are probably for that video who care about Grant are going to search his name and then the tips. So it's understanding who, like, you know, your audience, but what audience is this video for specifically, right? So that's something you always have to keep in consideration. Christina Swallow, turtle soup, no, says the urban explorer. I love it. It's so good. That just made me laugh. But I do think you have some good things here. So if I had to give you a grade, it's pretty much like you do pretty well. It's keeping in mind when you're making a video, right? Like you have authority in some of these, and it's just trying to maybe find easier ways for you to rank to get more viewership bursts initially. If I were to give you a grade, I'd give you an easy, probably, I'd give you an A- here because again, you're doing a lot right in just the general of what I'm looking for in a channel, like what YouTube is looking for as well. I'm seeing a lot of things just done very well. So overall, really good job here. So hopefully that helps you. Christina's journey. My channel is new and I'm going to share my testimony. I want my channel to be inspiring. I want to have a platform where others come and share their stories. So I'm not sure. My channel is new and I'm going to share my testimony. I want my channel to be inspiring. I want to have a platform where others come and share their stories. So it sounds like you're trying to make a community channel for places for people to share their stories, if based on what you've described. So you want it to be, my best advice is build it to be that. Like, I can want to be a millionaire, but I got to actually put in the work to be a millionaire, right? So I could want to direct more films, but I got to actually put in the work. So what are you doing to put in that work to get there? Turtle Creativity says, awesome. Thank you very much for your input. Thank you for the opportunity and the super chat. I do appreciate it. Christina Smallhorn. Guys, can we get Christina to 3K? She definitely deserves it. Just wanted to put that out there. So, if I go back up to what Christina said, I just changed my thumbnails and channel art. Can you give me your opinion of how they look? So, I actually noticed this. I kind of like the dark colors. My main thing is I'd just be cautious on how they perform comparatively to your other stuff, right? Like, they are new, so they definitely grab my interest. But I do think there's kind of like the combination of how you can add some of the old ones, because like my problem with the old one, especially like here, is I'm almost competing too much with you and the house in the background. So I'd always say be testing, and I think they look fine. So I just changed my thumbnails and channel art. Can you give me your opinion? I noticed your channel art changed the other day. I actually really like it. I like home and real estate tips and advice. I know who it is, right? You. I see who it is, and I can see it here and here, so I get that. Your website link is broken. I noticed that the other day. That could just be if I copy the link address. If I look here, it's probably because you have try adding the S. Try adding HTTPS, because sometimes that can change the website link. Anytime I see a broken link like that, it's a little interesting. Coming up with a good title is the hardest for me. Dr. Sense says Turtle Creativity. So Turtle, that's actually something where we can work on. Yeah, Dr. Sen said notice a lot of Twitter links are broken. Yeah, that's a change you gotta love. YouTube made a change. And guess where they told us? They told us on a forum post on the Google YouTube help forums, which I know we are all on religiously. There's no way that any of us would miss the most important helpful tips from YouTube in a place with a 28,000 active user base, right? Like, out of the 20 million, or no, 40 million YouTube partners, I'm sure we're all there. Sorry. 30-day reviews. Wow, that's a dumb place. Regard says, oh yeah, refreshing every minute. I agree, 30 days reviews saying they need to tweet it at least. All about the forums. YouTube, honestly, if they have the ability, just like put it here. At this point, just put it in my notification tab. Someplace I'll actually look for them. Or in my new studio dashboard, but don't put it on the help forums. As someone who runs the forums, like the last place I'd put an update is just on a freaking forum post. I'd put it in multiple places. So looking here, I really like the new banner. I like the with a dash of humor. I might, if I know you're putting your website here to tell people, like, to probably make sales or something like that. My only thing on putting a Facebook is that if people don't like you on Facebook, you're bringing people off platform. I always try to tell people, unless you're like super active and like you have a really good business there, try to keep people within the channel here. I do like you holding up the house. I do think I kind of like how you have it here, and maybe I can't see it on these new thumbnails, but I kind of like. All right, okay, so Facebook gets you leads. So in that case, then you're directing people to a where that's getting you direct benefit. So that's smart. Again, it's understanding what each channel wants to do. Because like if you just want to grow a YouTube channel, then I would tell you not to do that. But you're trying to generate leads, so that makes 100% sense for you. So with a dash of humor, I love that because that's what to expect. I think that this is, of course, the video I see as a subscriber. I'm not sure what your current non-sub video is, so that'd be something I'm curious of. I like your most recent real estate tip videos. Love it. Top real estate tips for buying and selling. One thing I would say to you is maybe consider buying a home for beginners, what you should know. Like, I think that for you would be very powerful, especially if they end up liking you, because you got a good personality, you're very enjoyable to watch. I like your live streams. So what I would say is maybe focus on that beginner angle too, because a beginner is probably going to want to, if they like you, they're going to trust you, especially in your area, is for sales, right? And regard, make it a series. Again, as important information, YouTube is going to be changing playlists from series playlists to what they call season playlists, maybe to help people understand. It's like more like Netflix than we realize. But basically, you want to know where they put that update, guys? Again, why aren't we always looking at our YouTube emails they send once a month? I'm sure we always read those. Come on. But yes, they are changing the series playlist to become season playlist. So just a little bit of fun information. Sheila does loads of videos on new buyers. Absolutely. And because she does lots of videos on new buyers, make a playlist and feature it on the channel so it's easier for those new buyers to see. Because I see these top real estate, I see playlists of buying and selling, and you may already have it, but I don't see it on the channel, right? So create a playlist, uploads, homes. Wait, if you have your most recent, I would actually get rid of the uploads here just so that since you do have your most recent anyway. Well, actually, these are most recent real estate tips. Never mind. Okay, I see what you're doing. I'd be curious on your CTR. I think they look good. I like your new branding. I think it looks really good. A seasons playlist is literally going to be what series playlist used to be, 30-day reviews. They're just changing the name. So with that, I think, you asked what your thumbs. I like them a lot. I would say maybe try incorporating like this opacity like effect on them just to see. But again, I think they look good. I like the different poses you have. I think it's solid. So yeah, based on what you asked, I think easy A. And again, just fix that website link. Maybe you did while we were talking. Maybe you didn't. So if I copy the link address, go. I would just quickly change that just so. But yeah, really, really solid. And now, only Claire Jones, who said, "It is my nightmare." So let's take a look. Apparently. Claire, I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit, but we will take a look. Yay, I got an A in economics. Car Galaxy Studio says, almost at 3K, Christina. Absolutely, guys. If you are not already, and if you need real estate tips, tricks, and advice, go ahead and take a look. Really good stuff. And check out our live streams. You can learn a lot. Black Recruit, I will add you. You have been very patient. I will add you to the queue after I take a look at Only Claire Jones. Of course, super chats always take the priority. Woo! So looking here, Only Claire Jones. All right. So the first thing I'm going to say, and you said you're doing this for fun. If that's what you're doing it for, that's fine. Make sure you let people know that though. Like maybe have fun with Claire Jones or something like that. Because as it is, I have no, I see like a Ferris wheel, I see colorful lights, but I have no idea really what to expect. So when I know you said you're making a new banner, I would just say when making this new banner, answer who you are, what you're doing, why we should subscribe to you, how you're going to help me, and what time are you doing it. Those are just some things to keep in mind. No, I've changed my mind. Well, it's too late. I'm already on it. So the only thing I would change is like I would definitely not put the vertical. I would make these horizontal instead of vertical because look at how much scrolling I have to do. And I know you have more than 4 videos. You don't get as much space as you do when you put them horizontally. And if you have Netflix or Hulu or Amazon, I bring these up, people already are used to the horizontal layout, so they're more accustomed to it than you know. Again, even if you don't know where the familiarity is, like if you already know that people are used to that layout, by keeping that level of consistency from other platforms, it makes it easier for them to understand what to do with your content. So that's something I'd say there. I do like how you have some custom playlists, like you have abandoned buildings. And I see some great videos, things that my family have done. The only thing I would say here is it's not very searchable. It's descriptive for your hub content. Lots of different videos here from funny to sad, but all my cats. So that's actually something. You have like animals. I love animals, so that's awesome to know. It seems like it's like a family vlog lifestyle thing, but I'm not too sure. Yes, I've got all of that being done on channel banner, which is good. Again, you're doing this for fun, which is good, and you're growing a following from that, but just a little bit more focus. Maybe if it's just on your family and you, I mean, I think there's a lot to be had here. I think people can learn to love your family. Like you can come up with like things where you can help people, like how to take care of cats, how to take care of bulldogs, how you deal with your family. Like all of that can be searchable. It's just finding the way you want to make a video about it. So if I'm to take a look, this one I'll just take because it's popular. First time at Build-A-Bear. Okay. So this is actually, when it comes to the optimization here, what I would say focus on is Build-A-Bear Workshop. First time at Build-A-Bear Workshop, right? This is probably, you need 168. If I look here, I'm curious if you're ranking, maybe not. You might have ranked at one time. But yeah, it's trying to keep seeing show up. And this could be where it's like first time at Build-A-Bear Workshop. Let's type in UK. This will make it a little more specific. But even if like it's not that competitive and you really do have a chance here. So it's just kind of looking only Claire Jones, first time. If I go back, this it's understanding like you want to show up here because like that's what this video is about. So I do think there's some chances for you to show up here. Like there's too many one-word tags. So even if you're doing this for fun, remember what people are going to be searching for is your experience at Build-A-Bear Workshop for this video specifically. And all these one-word tags, besides your name, the rest don't really matter. Like only Claire Jones is good. Like 2018 vlog doesn't matter anymore in 2019, so that helps. It hurts the relevancy really. Cake Flags UK Workshop, Build-A-Bear Workshop, and Build-A-Bear First Time are probably the best things you have here. Black Recruit, you are right here. Trust me, you are next. Thank you, Christina. I do appreciate the super chat, and I do appreciate you coming back. You are really, again, let's help Christina get to that 3K. She has a great channel. I've actually learned a lot just by your live streams. Bogart says need some food soon. I can understand that one. Me too. But again, when it comes to this, Claire, just keep in mind the keyword research, right? Like the first time at Build-A-Bear UK Workshop is actually super searchable, right? So people are looking at, so like if you're making a bear, maybe that's a unique way you can do it, right? And there's about 610 searches a month, which isn't bad. Like if I got 610 new people watching, I wouldn't be upset. Just found out the UK tag is doing the best bit, Build-A-Bear Workshop UK, right? So maybe you might be doing well for it. Let's take a look here. Yeah, you're ranking pretty well for the UK aspect because, UK people may have different opinions than those in America, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Ooh, Urban Explorer just had hot dogs. Now I want one. But again, Claire, it's not bad. It's just remember to focus on if you're like this is actually pretty well searchable, but it's like how do you then hone in on that search using keyword research? And anytime you can do that, that's good. Now, one thing I'd say is since it looks like you kind of have a variety channel, those are harder to grow. I would say maybe focus in on that family and your pet aspect and then find things you can do with your family and like show other people how they can do similar things with their families, because then the value is like you're showing people how to keep their family together, which is a really cool value proposition. But overall, based on like what I'm seeing here, you're doing some things right. Like you have some custom thumbnails, like you have custom playlist. I would definitely make these horizontal. I would definitely add that new banner. So I'm going to give you a C minus, Claire. C for Claire. And I know this could go up with that new banner and go up with just some more clarity. Not bad. Yeah, Dr. Stan, just checked. I'm still subscribed to Christina. Never know. I hate when YouTube unsubscribes me. I also found out that sometimes, and this is a theory I have, so don't take this with. I think that if I'm subscribed on one channel, on one like main email account, I've noticed that sometimes I won't be subscribed on another channel. And I don't know if maybe YouTube is trying, since I have 3 accounts, it just figures I'm one, so it like unsubscribes me, and I don't notice because I am watching on the one account. That's something I've noticed a little more. Yep, it's hard to build for sure. That's better than the social. Look, again, Social Blade ranking is comparing you against all creators ever. So like Social Blade has a lot of data you're going against, and it doesn't even talk about your niche. I don't even think I have that good of a rating on Social Blade, at least on my personal channel. But you know, I do what I will. See, I'm only a C+ channel on that Social Blades, so take that what you will. I'm only I'm barely above average Social Blade here, so take take that what you will. All right. Andrew Land. Hello, RPM. Or RPN Nexus. I gotta, since we said Andrew Land. Okay. I have a C+ on Social Blade. So, next is Black Recruit. Gaming, commentary, and gameplay. Alright, so I know that this is Black Recruit. I know that you're doing gaming, commentary, and gameplay. The first thing I would say is put a subscribe link here to keep people on platform and also do that. I'd say it's maybe add, if you can, a stroke effect here so it's easier to see this background because it kind of blends in almost too much. So with that, I'd keep that in mind. Other than that, though, I'm assuming PlayStation, but that's because I know these symbols as PlayStations. So I don't necessarily know what kind of content you're doing. I'm seeing Battlefield 5, I'm seeing The Crew 2, playing with Annoying Kid on Fortnite. So I see like you have some Fortnite content. I want to see if you have those playlists. So you have playlists. I'd recommend featuring those Black Recruit so that you can have like maybe a Fortnite playlist, so you can talk about your stuff there. You can have your Battlefield playlist or whatever games you're playing. It definitely seems that you were kind of have a first person shooter thing here. Maybe the Crew 2 beta being the difference. But there's definitely a lot of first person shooters here, so I'd keep that in consideration. Glitch Bear says, "Who called the bear?" I'm unsure. But I live in California, so I'm always calling the bears. Hey, Glitch Bear, you want to go get that picnic basket? But anyway, as we go here, Black Recruit, I would say I want to see more of your content displayed. And then I'd also like to see, I know what you're doing, but I don't really have a reason of why I should subscribe. Like, I like the recruit aspect, so maybe it's like recruit, like, go from recruit to general by watch. I don't know, something like that, just something that can work. And so think of ways that can convince people to subscribe. I'd like to see a channel trailer as well, which if you weren't there for it, to get to a channel trailer, basically best way I could say is to do it is to go to your channel and hit that customize right here. Thank you to the 13 of you that are watching. I do appreciate you guys staying with me. So you can literally edit this where you can choose for new visitors. To add playlist, you could just hit add section and then you can choose playlist. I usually go for, I go for created playlists. I go for single playlists, and then it'll let you from your own list of playlists choose. So if I want to give these, I can. It also gives you a preview. So that's something I do. And you can customize each and every one of these, which I also recommend doing. And then, of course, YouTube, of course, they're giving us the best tips on the old YouTube. And even my Twitter. Here we go. My Twitter link's broken. See, I'm not perfect. I'm not above being wrong. Okay, so maybe they changed it to need the S. Let's change it together, folks. No, it's just broke. Wow, YouTube broke it. All right, this is just YouTube breaking things. You never know with YouTube, honestly. You kind of are playing their game. Oh, they must have broken YouTube breaking things behind the scenes. Always gotta love it. Actually, while I'm here, I'm starting to think of like things I don't really utilize. I don't ever use my Facebook. I don't know why I direct people there. I'm I'm my gaming channel. It's good to bring people there, but it's really not the most. I'm more active on these socials, if any. So, go on YouTube. I mean, of course, I want to promote my TubeBuddy affiliate link, keep people within my ecosystem. But yeah, YouTube broke the links. Gotta love that. But more importantly for you, the Black Recruit, going back to the homepage, like this is all stuff you can edit and definitely like improve. So like you can have one for your new visitors. You click for new visitors. You click the edit. So if we go back to your channel, you can do so. These are things that you can easily do right here. And I want to see more changes, but because there are some slight changes, but I still need more, I'm going to give you that classic NA until I see a little bit more here. Again, you may have some more in your about. Gaming commentary, Reddit, and gameplay, Rainbow Six Siege. So again, all these things, I would say, hi, I'm Black Recruit. I do gaming commentary, all those things to help YouTube better, like, help your channel. But yeah, it's not bad. It's just like you have a lot more content that's being displayed. There's a lot more you can do to improve. And those are all things I'd take into consideration. Urban Explorer, that hasn't changed. I'll go adjust it. I have a gaming channel too. But you see, even I make changes. Like I tell people, like, no one's above getting things wrong. I make changes all the time. Glitch Bear gives us a pineapple. 1 second. I literally bought this because I saw Target. So there's my pineapple for the day. My hair is just not cooperating, but it's out. I just fixed up a few playlists. All right, let's go ahead and refresh them. Take a look at it. So make sure you add them to your homepage then. That's a beauty, says Vigard. Pineapple. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Copyright infringement. What if all the text under the orange bars? So it's captivating imagery, education, entertainment out of this galaxy. All right, we're talking about Car Galaxy Studios, but he didn't ask for a channel review, but I'm going to pull him up anyway. So because you didn't ask for it, I'll be a little more kind, if you will. Christina says, LOL copyright. I mean, you got to be realistic. It's the platform we're on. Transitioning back. So looking here, Car Galaxy. Looking here, I love this. I think this is awesome. I just like that a lot. Education and entertainment, how-to, hobby tips, and more. Car Galaxy Studios. Captivating imagery and entertainment out of this galaxy. Great. One thing I'd say is this is hard to read. I'd also say, when are you captivating my imagination? I like your video and filmmaking gear. Gear review is a segment in which I deep dive into all camera. Perfect. Freshwater aquarium. Ooh, I didn't know you had an aquarium. I'm into it myself. I have some aquafern. I have betta fish. I love my aquarium. Collaboration and contest submission. That's actually really cool that you feature those. There's that man beast Doug Houston right there. Go subscribe to Doug. Has some great content. The one thing I'd weary about is that your most popular seems to be best freshwater aquarium cleanup cruise. So I'm not sure if that's like still a high focus, since the first thing you have is video and filmmaking gear. So I just kind of keep that in consideration. Christina, thank you so much. Go edit something, have some fun. Again, Car Galaxy, I think you have a really solid channel here. It's just be careful on like what the main, like, because of that being your most popular, YouTube might think you're an aquarium channel. And Dr. Stan can tell you when YouTube thinks you're one thing, it might be a little difficult to fight your way out. But all in all, Car Galaxy, you have a really solid channel. It's just if I were to say anything on your banner, it's just going. Refresh. Ooh, Car Galaxy's throwing some. Let's see what he says. Ah, photography, indie film, YouTube. All right, I'll challenge you then. Since you got rid of that, why should I subscribe to you about it? Are you going to help captivating your imagination through photography, indie film? Subscribe to up your something you can use the galaxy in your name for, maybe, and just be really cool. But I like that a lot. I think it looks good. I don't know what YouTube thinks my channel is about. So Vigard, you can usually tell based on like what it's recommending against you when you're not logged in. For example, YouTube thinks I'm all about audio because one of my most successful videos is about audio. More recently, it's starting to think I'm about audio and live streaming, which I do have a very popular video on the Cam Link 4K because a lot of people are asking me questions. It's taking me to the right place I want to be, which is film gear. Car Galaxy Studios, I would say YouTube is saying, looking on here, it's probably going to like say you're a how-to now because you've been putting more content like that out. But also because your fish stuff is so popular, it's probably combining the two of you there too. Rebranding Autism, thank you so much for the super chat. Hi, Andrew. I would like a review, please. Also, I have that same IKEA lamp behind you. Oh, that's good. Awesome. I will add you to the queue. That being said, Car Galaxy Studio, solid with what you're doing here. I love this imagery. Car Galaxy Studio. So yeah, I would, if I were to give you a grade, it's probably a very, very solid. Like, again, I was just looking at your channel, so I'll give you an A. Like, you're doing great. I mean, I pulled you up without. So right now, Car Galaxy, YouTube's probably thinking like you're first and foremost because it's looking at what's been successful. It's looking at you as like a fish channel. With now you're branching out into filmmaking, so right now it's probably still keeping you within that fish niche, which isn't bad, or niche depending. Just you gotta be aware of where it's putting you, and like if you're gonna, maybe one thing you can do for those fish people is if you're doing a gear review, maybe feature your tank. It's an easy thing to do. But rebranding autism. So I love how you have a very good focus on your rebranding autism new video. Traveling Amtrak with autism. Amtrak, take me there, like that. Autism on the go. Even though I have autism, I still enjoy life and break out of my routine, try new things. Love it. There's a value and a reason to come. Real stories from my life. Growing up with autism and OCD wasn't easy, and some of the things I went through I would not wish on anybody, but there are also I love about now. So there's comedy skits, there's dealing with autism. Since the first thing I would say is rebranding autism, I like the new videos. I would also maybe put dealing with autism a little higher on the list because it's about rebranding autism. Like that's what you've told me. And I love your branding prop. I would say maybe like let me like you have a free download, so that is something you're doing. Maybe tell people to subscribe. I like the simplistic nature of this rebranding autism. And then you again, I'm not sure like a good value pitch for this. You would know this a little better than I, but maybe it's like most it's hard for me to come up with ideas here, mostly because I'm not too sure how you're rebranding autism. So it becomes this thing where I'm not sure how to say it, but I do like the banner. I just want it to tell me like when to upload, like when you're uploading, why I should subscribe to you. Though I think a lot of people should immediately know right away. And I think that you have a unique idea here. So I want to see it just a little bit more of it. Showing the world the love of God and the power of the people and the power of people with autism. Having autism doesn't mean you can't have a full life. Rebranding autism. Having autism doesn't mean you can't live a full life. Right there, amazing. Like in your about. Like that's where I had to go. But that's beautiful. And then sharing my autistic experience, come along for the journey is a reason to subscribe. Like, it's right in the about. I need more of this about. I also like how you call it the snail mail. Sorry about that. Just thought it was funny. But again, you have it in your about, but I want it in your banner because it's good. And it's like, that's where I looked at what you already told me, but it's not present. I also like how you have closed captions. That's very good. That's something I'm noticing here. I would say, you know, anytime you have stuff that really, I'd say living the best life with autism on banner, 30-day reviews. That's a great suggestion. I like that a lot. Looking here, I want to take a look at the truth about filming the employables. Why don't I want to look at one that's not too old. Amtrak train sleeper car. Rebranding autism. Very quick, very simple. So Amtrak sleeper car tour. So Amtrak, let's go with train sleeper car tour because you want to keep it kind of what you called it. So you actually have, I think, the bare minimum. I think your video might be the lowest one to break in. So if I'm looking here, my thing is the video itself is Amtrak train sleeper car. I'd maybe put vlog and then I'd put dash, something to make it a little bit more compelling. Maybe you can put, I don't necessarily disagree with the autism travel vlog, but maybe instead of part 1, you can put dash, is it right for you, or something that would compel a user to want to click on it. Because what about the Amtrak train sleeper car? This is a great example of, it's pretty searchable, but it's not necessarily compelling. So that's where it's like honing into what I said last week, is focusing on both the search and the compelling element. And that's really what YouTube comes down to. But overall, I mean, like, it's minor changes. Like, I know what you're doing. Like, really strong thumbnails, well thought out. You have a clear following. Just make that branding like a little bit stronger. But overall, you're really doing great. So this, to me, I mean, just if I was to get really nitpicky, I'm going to give you an A minus, maybe a B plus, just on some of the like SEO side, but and just lack of stuff. But I'm just going to stick to the A minus. Like, you're doing really great. And just again, when you have such a powerful message like rebranding autism, like, it's such a unique idea, and I love the message you're spreading. So for me, just those slight changes are really what's going to take you to the next level. Thank you for the opportunity to take a look at your channel. And thank you everyone who's been very patient here in the chat. I do appreciate everyone who has been staying with me. This has been a random time to stream, but I've just had a crazy week where I lost a majority of my stuff, had to get some stuff replaced, had to buy a new power supply. I'm just happy to be back. It's been a week. If you follow me on Twitter, shameless plug, Andrew Can Film, you would have seen some of the stuff. I had a power surge that it just felt good to make some kind of content, because for 4 days there, I didn't have power in my place. I was working remote on a laptop. It was not the best experience. So I just wanted to thank everyone for joining me this early. I really do appreciate everyone who has joined me and everyone who's offered super chats. It really does mean a lot. That being said, I think we talked a lot about keyword research, kind of how you really need to think about it. And again, you need to think about it like this. The searchable part is how most people are going to find you, but you also need to work on that compelling element to get you to click. Wow, that's crazy. Did you vlog it? Next week will be better. Enjoy the weekend, Vigard. Rebranding with autism. No, I did not vlog it because it was so hot. I was so sweaty, but I do have video of stuff not working, and I have a new video coming soon. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining me this morning. I just wanted to say and take that time. But if you want to learn more about YouTube and all those things, check out the playlist over there or over there. I'm Andrew Can, and I truly believe that if I can, you can too. Thank you all so much for watching.